magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats into the rhythm space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. Where am I? There we are. What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme, right here each and every Saturday night on Fearless. And I'm joined by my theorical translator and co-host, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
Before we begin the show tonight, I'd like to say, share and subscribe to the channel and get the information out there. It's totally worthy. It's totally worth it. We got a lot of good stuff happening tonight. And today's show is sponsored by the letter F. Fuck paperwork. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's difficult. It's annoying. It's stressful.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
It's stressful for everyone.
Just remember that. And after we crumple up the paperwork and say, fuck you, get out of here, don't forget to stop by the Fearless Family Group on Facebook. Answer the question.
If you want to get in the group.
If you want to get into the group.
You have to answer the question.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You all right?
Yeah.
I don't want to move the mic into your face.
That's exactly what you're doing.
But stop by the group. We got a lot of new members. I want to say thank you for everybody that stepped into their role into the Fearless Family Group.
Oh, yeah.
Answered the question, because now the magic number is 54. There's 54 people that want in that didn't answer the question.
Oh, they didn't answer the question.
You know, and it's funny. Sometimes when I'm in the bathroom, I'll be taking a look at it. I'll be scrolling, and I'm just laughing. Yeah, I'm scrolling. They see me scrolling.
Did you deny anyone?
They see me laughing
for like ridiculous answers.
I haven't in a while. There were a few people you knew that were just straight dummy. Yeah. They would say stupid things. But my favorite was, we're gonna go back. I think I have that saved. I've come here to hunt you. It's like, good luck. Now I know who you are, and I'll be seeing you tonight. We're in a very weird mood. Wait, before we begin. Shout outs to the Fearless family.
Yes. Hello, everyone in the chat room.
Everybody in the chat room, thank you for taking the time tonight and spending
it with us. I want to thank Wendy. She had sent this amazing cream for us, and for me specifically, because it's tomorrow will be 4 weeks off of the anti-inflammatory that I've been on for I don't know how many years. It's been probably 10 years now, at least 10 years, because I've known Frank 5. So it was probably 5 before Frank, at least 5 years before Frank. And I'm off of it for 4 weeks, and it was rough, but it's getting better. And between the essential oils that Sam and Lexi sent and this cream that I tried this morning, it came last night. Wendy had sent it. She sent the cream along with a book that explains what all of the I guess all of those I can't reach it now.
So congratulations to Paula. because
So
she's really not been on medication that she's
yeah,
been on for years and years and years
yeah,
and years.
it's a supplement guide, A to Z. So it explains exactly what the supplements do, and it's more trusted than what you find on the internet. And the cream she sent was a combination, and I just want to read it because it's important. It's an anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal, helps circulation, muscle, and tissue repair. Also, it's great for skin rashes. And I happen to be going through hives now because of all this cat hair, because they're shedding and everything and whatever. And I used the cream this morning after I took a shower, and it really did help. So I'm gonna use it every day, and then she's gonna send me. Hopefully she'll start to sell it, and then I can purchase it. But if she doesn't want to do that yet, if she's not ready to do that yet, that's fine. I can learn how to make it myself. But I mean, hopefully she'll start selling this stuff, and then we can give you the information because it's wonderful. Um, the oils and the creams.
So you basically have been sciencing yourself
Yeah, I
with
have
our
been.
Fearless
Yeah,
Families.
yeah, I have since
creations.
the beginning. Though I have, I always shared that stuff. Like we were talking about.
Well, no, I mean, if it works, you know what
Oh
I'm saying? Like
yeah,
if
if it
you're
works,
giving
yeah.
bunk stuff, we're gonna be like, nah, it didn't work. But if it's working,
Oh yeah, I love it. I love
mean,
it.
she literally has. I'm gonna fix this lighting in here. If
I know
it
it's
kills
terrible. I don't know why it's so bad.
me. You have a condition.
Yeah, I have cerebral palsy. It's a
Uh,
neuromuscular condition.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
I
if
don't
you're
take any.
capable of
Yeah,
pulling a maneuver,
I know
do
it's
you
hard.
know? I know it's hard, but you're a month.
Yeah, tomorrow be 4 weeks off the anti-inflammatory. I stopped my antidepressant 5 years ago when we met. First time I drank Aya, I stopped, and that wasn't even really an issue for me. I didn't think it was, and that stopped. And one of the side effects was that I believe I stopped drinking alcohol, and I don't think I had a problem with alcohol. I just stopped drinking it, and I know that that's been kind of a side effect for a lot of other people as well. Why did it get even darker now?
I'm trying every position
It
with this
looks.
light.
Why does it look so dark in here? It didn't look this dark before. All the lights are on.
I'll fix it. You keep talking.
Can you fix it? I look. Oh, I brushed my hair this morning, and there was a lot of gray hair in the hairbrush, and I screamed out. And Frank actually was here this morning. He hasn't been here in 2.5 weeks. And he did a sleepover last night. It was amazing. So when I woke up this morning and I took a shower, I saw this gray hair in the hairbrush, and I was like, Frankie, there's been an old lady using my hairbrush when I'm not around." And I was like, "Oh my God."
So both of us are going for it.
Oh yeah, we're going for it. No hair
We're just gonna
dye,
see
like
what's
not.
up,
Yeah, we're just
see
gonna.
how it
We're
goes.
seeing how it goes. Yeah, so I'm off almost everything. I have an antispasmodic that I'm not ready to let go because I'm not ready to fully change my diet. Just because of the weird timing of things in our lives right now. And but yeah, oh, thank you, Lexi. I've been using the oils every day, and really rubbing them in. And now this cream is amazing also, the one that Wendy sent. It's amazing. And if you guys are selling it, put it in the group so people can purchase it, because I do really feel much better.
Lexi, I had a dream with you in it.
It was hard to get off it was hard, but I've been doing it. It's rough, but I've been getting through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you did have
Super
a dream
proud.
you did have a dream about her.
No, I was thinking about I was in the dream thinking about my life, right? And then we were like covering all the ayahuasca sessions, but it covered it quickly, and then it just
So you did
stopped.
a life in review.
Yeah, but the ayahuasca life in review, kind of, I guess
Yeah.
a shaman life in review.
Okay,
But it
that
stopped
makes
at Lexi specifically.
Did it
'Cause
really?
you remember when we were here, we were both like broken into two groups at one point, right?
Yeah.
So I was on the floor on my knees looking directly at her in the eyes, right? So I had something happen with her that happened with Aaron when we smoked and looked into each other's face.
Yeah.
And he was like holding
Yeah.
my head, and I was
Oh,
holding his
Jesus.
giant Jesus head, Space Jesus. Shout out to, he'll be on the show in a few minutes.
Okay. I just
The
don't wanna
click
lose that.
occurred where it was like, I know you, like it went deep into like a resonating place. So when I call to people to help me, right, during dream scenarios or
Yeah.
whatever. I call to those who I ultimately know on that level. So I call you.
Hmm.
I've actually called Nick Zervos in a couple of times, and I always call Lexi. All right, so we hugged, and then she turned into
Oh,
the
you
one
did
that
tell
I
me. Yeah.
know, right?
Hmm.
Like the version of her that I know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was on
Yeah.
the horse, and the guy was trying to attack me, and he was
Uh-huh.
like, "You're the one I want." And I said, "You're going to fight the youngest, freshest of my tribe." And
Oh,
if
and
you
you sent her
and
out?
if no, and I everyone backed up, and she was just standing there, but she was a he, right? Jacked out of,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but smaller than everyone.
Was it that hit the handlebar mustache?
Yeah,
Okay.
the giant mustache like
Yeah.
this, and I was going, um, if you beat him,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give myself to you, so you don't have
Right.
to fight me. I was remembering it so hardcore,
Right.
and
Right.
then he was like, "You're dead," and she just went up to him and hit him in the head with a hammer, a war hammer, and killed him. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"One shot, one kill."
Right.
So all the craziness in the last 3 days, we're gonna talk about compression breakthrough
Oh,
and what
yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
So it was like her and I holding hands, looking into each other's eyes now, and then it turning back into that, and then scenarios one after another of
Mm-hmm.
like last night I couldn't get back into my body. We'll just leave it at that.
Mhm.
I was trying desperately, and this thing was like slapping me back as I was riding the tether in, and it was like slapping me back up the tether and like kind of squeezing my body, and it was this blue character. And then I was like, anyone want to help me? And I started punching him down, and boom, the hammer came out, Oscar came out, Bear came out, and I was going, oh, what's happening? This is amazing. So shout outs to all you that I know on that true soul level. We're going through an intense, weird time. Paula was just hyper anxious and in a great mood right before
Oh, yeah.
the
Right
show
before the
started,
show.
and now she looks like she's going to sleep.
I don't know why that happened to me. I put music on. I prepared festivities for the evening. It's wonderful. And now I feel like all of my energy just kind of
Thanks, Lewis. I see
pulled
Lewis.
back.
I pop up in the dreams sometimes. I'm telling you. I
Oh, I believe that the Fearless family pops up a
So
lot.
look, that's when I'm gonna show up, right? When it gets a little darker than what you're used to, because that's when you're gonna think of me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have this thing where when Aaron comes on a little bit, we're gonna talk about it. But everyone came through. He was talking on his show about it. Like what brought you? I don't know if I could explain this right. Growing up, what they brought you through the Catholic religion, or the however you come through, there's like a modality that you think about when you're coming from
Oh, I
from those
agree.
places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were him and Zach on the show,
Mm-hmm.
Expanded Universe. They were saying, given their versions, and then I didn't say anything. I was on the show. I was kind of just coming on. I was sitting in the background, and I
Mm-hmm.
started thinking about, where's mine come from? Like they really got me going, and I didn't have what they had. I was going back, and I'm going, wait a second. No, I don't see it like that. I don't see it like that. And you know where it came out? I was a war strategist. Like I was really that guy that's like, you know what? We're gonna flank these fucks, and we're gonna murder and then I'm going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I get it.
Right.
So, but I applied it to sports.
Mm-hmm. They say that
That's why I was like a great, really good, vicious sports player.
yes, and I'm going to explain why.
Little battle
I'm going to
scenarios.
explain why. They are battle scenarios. So when I took this astrology class in the early 90s, we were doing OJ Simpson's chart. And I talked about this on prior shows. The OJ Simpson's chart, now it was way before the trial. And the chart actually kept coming up no jail time. And we had to do it twice in class. Everyone
Okay.
in the class had to do it twice because it kept coming up no jail time. And, we had followed the trial for months, and basically the entire class was convinced that he was guilty. So, but his chart said no jail time. Now, also, he was a football player. So, football players, rugby players, lacrosse players, soccer players, the objective is to get to the other side. And they have the same charts that military personnel have, strategists. your objective is to get to the other side, obtain the thing you need, and get back, right? And that's basically sports, right? To get to the other side.
Yeah.
So his chart was very similar to military strategists, their charts. And I think Harry Houdini, it was his chart was I may not
Harry
be remember
Houdini,
I
that's
may not I
gangster.
may not be remembering that correctly, but it kept coming up no jail time, and we were like, oh my god, how could that be? But it was in the chart, no jail time, like, and he didn't serve jail time for that crime, and he had very similar traits to many military strategists. So and sports and the military, it's considered the same. They fall under the same signs, like sports people and the military.
I completely understand
Yeah.
because I play football, I play baseball, but it wasn't aggressive enough for me.
Uh-huh.
And I play manhunt and freeze tag. Freeze tag, I was the best because you'd never get me. Right, and then I'd find out where base is, and then I'd go hide right next to the base. I'd wait till everyone piles in, and I would be the guy that jumps up, tag, 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 tag. But I remember something in me
Mm-hmm.
as being all right. So you would airdrop me. Listen, this is an etheric kind of things, metaphor.
I have no problem believing it.
Right in the middle of you being kidnapped and cracked down etherically, demons everywhere,
Right.
most dense place that you could
Right.
imagine. And they would drop me right there with like whatever team or characters I decide to take with me. If no one wanted to go because it's pretty screwy, I'd go myself, and I go naked. Naked meaning I'm not going to bring nothing with me because I don't need nothing. And now the more, I know this sounds confident, sometimes cocky, but guys,
That's
girls,
what it is.
you need to believe in you, right? So I see this and I'm like, wow, this is the kind of stuff that makes John Constantine shit his pants straight up. I watch the show and I read the comic and I'm like, wow, this is intense. Like souls for trade and this and that. I'm like the guy that's like, no deal, smashing both of them, right? Going, yeah, this sucks, man. But you know what? I got to grab the Ghost Rider, and you're no longer the Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
You're now the
Right.
Light Rider, and you're with me and changing them. Aaron and I have spoken about in dreams, pulling a character apart,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that it's like AI, right? And it's hooked into the hive mind, and it goes in for the like you're in too close. You got way too close with the tentacles or the character that you're being, and then everyone running and us not running and going, let me see something here. And then touching them like on the head, like not even touching them, like doing that.
Right.
And then their head pulls apart, like it just comes apart. And then you go, oh, let me see what's in there. Let me take a look. Now you work for me. Bloop, goes back to normal.
Right.
And I go find 10 more just like me. Bring them back and go tell the hive mind you work for me now. You say the creator,
Right.
the one above all gods is here. You go tell him. And everyone, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, now it works for me. Doesn't it work for you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Look, 33 people in the room. I'm starting to see numbers like ridiculously ever since we started meditating on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, 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 boom. Now I see all the minutia in the numbers, right? Every time it hits a little thing, or if I'm looking online or on TV, if it's a certain number jumps up, I know 138's Nick's number, and every time there's something going on with him, it's always 138. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to botch that, so I'm not going to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's awesome when that happens.
Well, that's like 11:11. All the cats jumped in the window this morning. Frankie has been sleeping at his mother's house for the last 2.5 weeks now, and last night he slept home only because he got tired and he fell asleep here. And
Joseph's in the room.
Hi, Joseph. The cats were so happy that he was home that they let me sleep. I was only woken up once this morning to let them out, and then I slept until 7 o'clock to let them back in, and it was amazing. And then 11:11 came, his alarm clock went off, and he was like, okay, moment of silence. And then all the cats jumped in the window at the same time. It was weird.
It was, I'm telling you, you said it the best ever when we were outside. And I said, Paula, I must sound like a caveman sometimes. I'm like, Paula, It's like you're outside and there's nothing, right? And then you're like, right, and then cue the cats. And she
Right.
already knew what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
And it's like you're in no time. You're out there, it's just you.
We
You don't
had
hear a car, you don't hear a
nothing.
bird,
Nothing.
nothing. You can kind of feel the sunlight and then almost hear it
It
because
was
it's so
so
quiet.
early this morning, and Frank,
And then blip,
yeah.
it just
So
turns
Frank
on.
woke up early, and I was like, "What are you doing up?" And he was like, "Oh, I think I'm up to stay." So I said, "All right, you want coffee?"
Over the edge of the gate, you see,
So we went,
and I'm
and
like, squirrel.
I said, "You want to have your coffee outside?" No one's outside. It's dead quiet outside. So he goes, "Yeah, let's have our coffee outside, right?" So we go outside the coffee, and we get the chairs, and we put everything out, and we're sitting out there. It's got to be like maybe 2.5 minutes,
I don't even know if it took that
and
long.
birds.
All of a sudden, it was like they were singing.
Yeah, there was a lady with a baby carriage. Like it was
Now I
like
know that they say
cats.
when you're not looking, it's not there, and then when you look, it kind of is there.
I don't know.
And then I'm thinking it's there. It's just it's a projection, right? Oh, sorry, and into the holographic matrix. So as you spin, you're hearing it. You're immersed in it. It's like having speakers around your head. I one time saw it almost like Nick Fury at the
Mhm.
end of Spider-Man when he was on the ship.
Right.
He wasn't in the sun. He was in that room where it was like projecting it on him,
Yeah.
but you could really get a tan in there and
Yeah,
stuff.
'cause
Like
you really feel like you're in the sun.
it's like, yeah, you could not, if no one told you
you
the
wouldn't
difference,
know.
you would have no clue. But it's just this little spot. I was on the other side once where they were creating. Remember, we were making our bodies. Okay, it was like there, but in the test room next to it, I guess. And there were these two things like drones floating right over my light body. And I'm like looking, and there was this other pole piece right in front of me. And I was like, oh, look at this. And I wanted to touch it naturally and go, oh, what is this? And they started projecting things. So it was just happening to me. So as I moved, I'm thinking I'm flying to, Tokyo or something. There's things going on. All of a sudden, I'm swimming in the ocean.
Right. You
But I'm
didn't
in
leave
full
the spot.
gnosis that I'm standing there and these drones are projecting at me like in
Right.
Spider-Man when he's like,
Yeah.
I just got to get through the hologram.
Mhm.
For those of you that did not see Spider-Man, the second one, listen, I know I don't push none of this stuff on you guys, but watch that movie. It has the most intense holographic sequence. And when you watched it, you were saying they already have that stuff. Like the drones, he gets like he takes over Tony Stark's Iron Man's money, the drone thing in the satellite that's in orbit. So he wears the glasses and the drones come out. So the villain takes the drones and hooks up. He modifies them so they project holographic images and they're like hyper real. And he says at one point, he's like, man, this is all an illusion. I just got to get on the inside of it.
Right.
And he has that moment where he gets behind the curtain.
Right.
And he just goes, wow. And it's just these mechanical things flying in the air, projecting things right in everyone's face. And you're like, yo, that's really messed up. Remember, he starts showing him like crazy stuff. And then he starts projecting it, like his outfit's changing and stuff. And he's like, I can't stop what's going on. He thinks buildings are falling on him and stuff. But the reality is 2 feet from you, like right there, you're out of the projection. Right. As a metaphor of you're bouncing out of this matrix. Right. And what does he do? Right. It's not the end of the movie, so no spoiler alert here, but he calls it his pita tingle in the movie. Everyone calls it that, but it's a spider sense. So it's like your internal structure having to activate and know what's coming.
We all have it. And if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it feels good, do it.
Right.
And we don't listen to it. Every time we get in trouble, we're like, oh, I had that pain in my stomach that told me don't do it. And I did it anyway because we don't trust ourselves.
Right. Exactly. So he says, come on. Because
he has to use his intuition.
The hologram is so good.
It's so convincing. That he has to use his intuition.
He had to close his eyes and then everything goes dark. And when you're looking at what's in front of him, you see the machines are coming at him in a hallway, right? Just big enough for like 2 or 3 people. And it's this long hallway. And the villain's at the end. He goes, come get me. And all the robots come out. And then the projection starts. And he's like, oh, man. Like, I felt it for him. Like, you're like 16, 17 years old. I would never want you to have to deal with this. However, he closes his eyes and he goes, come on, speed to tingle. And then as they just come in at him, he just, and nothing touches him. He goes through the rest of the movie He doesn't get hit. He becomes like Neo.
Because he trusts his senses.
Thank you. This is what I'm at.
Trust his gut. And that's all you have to do. Trust yourself. Try it. If it doesn't work, try something else.
Paul, you're the best. You're short of words tonight.
I am. I don't know why. I had a cold this week, and it's not the coronavirus.
She does not have corona.
It literally was just a cold. And I'm looking at my face, and my face looks a little swollen. I'm feeling better, but I'm not 100%. But I had no corona symptoms at all. It was just literally a cold. And I think I was run down just from being back and forth the last couple of weeks. But I'm okay. I don't know where my energy went.
Hey Zach, it's good to see you too.
Hi, Zach.
And yes, the Fast and the Furious. Better yet, if you've seen Hobbs and Shaw, the movie's completely ridiculous, but the characters and what they do in it. What's his name? Who's the villain in that movie? We just watched it like 4 times. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Oh
He's
my God.
actually
He's
a
such
machine.
A beautiful man.
Like they take his spine out and they put the metal in, and so he can move faster. And he has metal, his faster reflexes, metal arms and stuff. It's crazy, but it's like under the skin. He has the enhancements in his eyes. He has a motorcycle and drones that just listen to him. Crazy stuff. That's like when we were watching that, we were like, damn, they're just letting it out now, because the next step in technology
has already been created.
Would have you move quicker, right? You would see it would look like magic to you. You'd be like, wow, I can't compete with this. And remember, they couldn't. And then the only way to overcome the AI and the character was how did they do it? Do you remember?
Disillusion.
They worked together.
Yeah.
They were like, look, I'm willing to take a punch for you.
Right.
If you're willing to throw the punch. Right. And they were like, all right, we'll do this as a team.
They had to do it together.
We rise together. It's all there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that was going to be it when The Rock said the island will provide for us. I was thinking the lady from Moana, not the lady, the plant elemental. That was ayahuasca to me at the end of the movie. She was like angry ayahuasca, and then she gives her back her gem, and she turns into the beautiful lady made of the forest.
It's beautiful.
I enjoyed that movie.
I know.
It was a little weird with the older guy and the younger girl thing. Disney has a thing with that. Fucking weirdos. I was in the Mickey Mouse Club when I was a kid in the 70s, right? Singing, dancing, all kinds of weird stuff. And then they were like, no bueno with this kid. He's too fat. That's what they told me. They told my mother. They told
husky
me.
Boy.
So my mother said, oh, they said he's a little too husky. But when I got older, she just told me, oh, you were too fat. Right? But all the years, if you check, right, of all those kids, right? Because I was the MICKEYMOUS Frankie. That was me right there in the end. All of them have the butterfly and the weird things tattooed, the weird lifestyle, the craziness, where you look back and go, wow, I want nothing to do with that. We get to the top and we want nothing. We none of us wanted to be there when we got there. And as a child, my chubbiness saved me, I think, from that whole youth business of being part of that. I'm pretty excited about that because...
Yeah, but you probably look like a man at 8. You're a furry gorilla.
Yeah. Ain't nobody going to want to get with me, right? I was like telling them that when they were talking trash when I was at Def Jam. I'm like, and I was pretty specific. I won't say exactly the way I said it here. I'm like, look, man, I'm hairy. My back is hairy. My ears have hair. My ass has hair. You guys are nasty. Right? If that's the way. And they're just like, wow. I'm like, I'm just calling it as I see it. Right? That's a dominating power thing.
Let's move on.
We are, because we have a guest on the show tonight.
Oh, yeah, we have that.
Stop being so...
I don't know.
Wake up. You were just you were dancing literally right as the show started.
And then all of
Where'd
a sudden
you go?
I got zapped.
Get back over here. From what? We lit sage.
I know.
We had music. We have Fearless Family. And now we're bringing
coffee.
Listen to me.
I know. We
got a big night tonight. So I've been stalling and bawling just for this little bit. No, listen, this is important. Wait. You gotta put headphones on
all right.
to hear Aaron. However, we're gonna
I hate headphones.
I know. We're gonna do a little thing tonight where we're gonna go from Fearless, and then where we going from Fearless?
Going to expanded understanding, bro.
Hi, Aaron. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to expanded understanding, but I'll be with you in spirit.
I know. I've got your owl. It's not on me. It's actually up by my bed.
But good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I have that all the time.
So
yeah, I'm not on camera at all, but that's okay.
No, I'm trying to bring you in right here.
Hit the other one. Hit the other Frank. Hit the other StreamYard 2-person option. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There's Paula.
Look at it. We got Zach.
And Zach's
he's
co-host
tonight. So we're going
hide
to.
that now.
What'd you say?
Hide it.
I am.
Now. Okay.
Why are you giving backdoor orders? So does anyone?
Dude, hold on. Let me just say. I think everybody else feels that way too. Paula and Frank, you guys are like the most wonderful old married couple to watch. Talk about esoteric shit and just your real life online. It's so endearing, and everyone loves you. And you guys have such good chemistry. Yeah, it is. It really is. And Paula, you've been putting Frank in his place last year. It's been awesome. Paula's just stepping up and being Paula, and Frank's like, all right, got to deal with my ego issues. All right. Yep, she's right.
Hell yeah. So for those, let me introduce my man here.
Oh, Lisa Cisco, her house number is 138.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I heard you saying it earlier. Yeah. Amazing.
All right, so I'm telling you, it's on. We're there. All right, wait. So this is Aaron Kesseler.
Yes, this is Aaron Kesseler.
This is my main man, right? So
hi.
I talk about Aaron, and I said to him recently, Aaron, I'm gonna bring you up into everything when somebody gives me the crooked eye because I can't explain it. So they're like, you know what, Frank, you're a little too out there, whatever. I introduce you to my man Aaron right now. He has an interesting background, right?
Yeah. And a very good way of explaining things.
One of the best ways to explain lots of things in depth, in detail. He puts a lot of time and effort into his hard work. He literally took the pilgrimage with Angela Miller recently. We got to get her as well on the show. And traveled to where did you go again? The Serpent Mound in Ohio?
Yeah, it's part of like 12 states in as many days. But yeah, Serpent Mound was one of them. We made a whole circuit.
That's amazing. Right? And then now you come through with the show, Expanded Understanding, right?
Dude, and that just happened kind of. So Zach and I have been talking about it a little bit. I've met Zach through the Fearless group in the summer. He saw some of the videos Nate and I were doing, and he reached out to me because he's been doing his own thing through Ayascend. So like Aya, AYA, Ayascend. And we had a few conversations, and then we just started talking more. Maybe this week we talked just a few times and decided to throw this show together. And we started by, okay, so this is cool. It's like background information. It's not actually on the show. But we decided to do a chat. We were even originally going to do like a Twitch stream and do like 2 guys, 1 chat and just get on there and just shoot the shit, right? And then just see how that goes and like get right, yeah. From that, you know what that's about, yeah. So we thought that'd be a fun way. So came up some little just like kind of free little GIF logo thing, and we're throwing that up there. And then Zach's done Photoshop for like 20 plus years. And he's like, well, I want to make some graphics and then we can do it on your channel, and I'll just make some for that. And I already had a logo, the scripted Expanded Understanding on the page and everything. That was like a paid for logo thing I did this last summer. Then he's got his ISN, and then I got StreamYard because you had StreamYard and you told me how to use StreamYard. So that was a great format. So we started making the overlays, and then we were just like, okay, let's go live tonight. All right. Why don't we just do this every night?
I saw your poster the other day, like a week ago, and it just popped up, and I was like, "Yo, that's a good poster." But then when you were live, your background, like ours right now, it's cool. It's the design.
Yeah.
But I like yours. I was like, "Yo, that's pretty dope."
Like yours.
Oh, thank you so much. See, so
yeah.
When I was watching, I was like, "Damn!" And then we went live the next night. Well, I just joined you guys for a little bit.
Right.
Yep.
Deep, in depth. Conversations. That's like, I just tell my story here with Paula, and it is deep end of the pool storytelling. However, to have the conversation like that, we had the 3 different It was like having the three wise men sitting discussing. But
Dude, somebody
everyone was from
said
another
that in the
land.
comments too.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
was like
funny because
everyone's from
it,
somewhere else.
it adds into the Gordian knot thing. So when we came out there initially, I know we've talked about on that show, and I think we'll get back into that, some of those dynamics. But when there's three people, so even just think, I guess, math or geometry too. So we have two, a straight line, point to point, mirroring or reflecting. When you add a third, it adds a dimension, an actual dimension, right? Like 3 dimensions or whatever. So it adds a triangulation to bounce ideas off of that. I don't know, creates some kind of vortex portal. I think we were talking about that. Threes, triangle, tetrahedron, all that dynamic. And then being able to come on, like the way we had you on, like we just brought you on. I think we said a little bit, hey, it's Frank. And then we just started chatting. So it wasn't like, oh, this is Frank. We're interviewing him today. And we're doing some of those things also because we're going to do it every night, man. But really having to be able to pop on for conversations and just creating a place where we can talk about all this stuff. And because of StreamYard, we've got the production value to Zach's been great with it, doing this from computer as we go, just bring up what we're talking about, diving into that, really interacting with people in the comments, and doing a mass diverse show just where everyone can come and feel and like have a good time. So it's almost like a radio show, I guess, right? Driving to work and listen to a radio show. Everyone's home from the virus stuff. It's something, I guess, to listen to, and it's just kind of happened.
But it
So
gets
we'll see how it goes.
so specifically deep. It's really kind of cool.
I feel like Princess Leia with these earphones.
It's,
I'm having such
Dude,
a hard time because I
Paula,
like Green Arrow.
No, you know why I smoked a cone before the show, and I think that's what's hitting me now because I'm freezing and all these weird things are happening to me right now. I think
Listen, you got to take a deep breath and ground into Mother Earth, right? Bring the StarShip FearLess down around the house.
Deep diaphragmatic breath,
Right.
balance out the pressure in your ears.
She's having flashbacks of being in space, right?
No, I don't like it. I feel like
She's gonna snap on me and run through the wall. The wall doesn't exist. I'll be like, damn, she can lift her arm.
Dude, Paula,
she was Kaiser Sose.
Yeah. So I know Frank's done the headphone things his whole life. This is brand new for me. I usually use earbuds.
I know.
That sounds fine. So yeah, the mic works fine. But then I started doing this I think these showed up the day of the show, and they're awesome. But if I wear them for too long, yeah, it's the fancy new Bose headphones. But like I waited for a long time to buy anything because I didn't want to waste money on something that didn't have a good mic or whatever. And apparently it works out. But wearing these for hours on time, like it starts to really hurt my ears. So I get
you got to do
like the headphones aren't.
Dude, you got to do headphones, right? When they don't over the ear, you're good for like 2 hours at a pop, and you got to take them off.
Yeah.
When they're not fully like over your earlobes, you got to take them off every 20 minutes, or you're going to be in pain for a week. Recording is we used to do that when we were recording.
Do you have to use the headphones when you and Zach do the show? Or no?
I do use them. I might even tonight or whatever. I might just put in the earbuds just because my ears have been hurting the last 2 days because of just wearing them so much. But yeah, there's an option. It's just nice. It is nice to be able to walk around, and I use my hands. There's no cords. It's just it's nice.
Okay.
Is there any delay on that?
No, it doesn't seem to be at all. Actually,
no,
it's really low latency. Yeah,
that's really awesome. So tonight
we could commence with the
no. So we're tonight.
This is like all stupid shit now.
Well, we are just having 44 is the number in the group right now. So watching live. So we're gonna go from this show tonight, and then we're gonna jump over to your show.
Are we breaking in? What time is your show?
So 8 p.m. Pacific every time, or every night. So it's 11 p.m. your time.
Okay.
And so yeah, if you guys are just going with the flow, then you guys can keep going. I can bounce off, and then you can wrap up the show however you want, and then hop on. Or if it just ends organically, 15 minutes or so before that, we'll slide right in.
Okay.
To the show, and it'll be the four of us.
Post the links for the people in the chat.
Zach can do that. Oh, I've got a co-host. If he's still in the chat, Zach should be able to keep up on all that.
Yeah, hook us up.
I feel useless tonight. I feel like I am not contributing anything. I don't know.
Well, where'd it go?
You should have seen me before the show. I had the music on.
Dude, she was on fire.
I
was like, this is going to be the greatest.
Look what I did.
Wait a second.
I made a beautiful Ellen, you'd be
Let's
so proud.
talk about weird things that happen.
Weird things that are happening. So not to anyway.
Tell
so
him.
we've all been home. So out of desperation, because Frank has been living at his mother's house for 2.5 weeks now, I learned how to roll cones from the hemp wrappers.
Yeah, that a
rolled
girl?
now,
So I
like for
rolled.
legit.
So now
Yeah.
Yo,
because
better.
of this CP, I can't use my right arm.
Better
2 cones, beautiful.
than most.
Yes.
She does it
Beautiful.
better. She just rolled
Nice.
Yes.
from the leg.
Wow, good job, Paula.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you.
And then packs it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta tell you, okay. Here's a funny anecdotal story for Paula. All right, since I've been out to your place twice now, right? So I was out there last May, and then we were there last month. So when we were out there, the first time.
Just a month ago. It feels so long ago already.
Oh my God,
no
yeah,
one left
so much
and-
has happened. And we were out there the first time. I think both times we were there for. I think the second time we were there a whole day, but we were smoking weed the whole time. And the first time, Paula was that person, right? She's holding it. She's talking. Paula, puff. Oh yeah, sorry. And she was fine.
Yeah,
She
no,
just
I
would always
totally
forget,
have
right?
weed etiquette.
Dude, no.
No
This
weed
was
etiquette.
last year. This was last year,
Yeah.
right? She's been talking about how much she likes rolling. She's been smoking with you. She's been getting into it. Dude, this time we're chatting, and she goes, "Aaron, you gonna pass that shit or what?" I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
Jesus,
that's right,
Paula,
that's
all right.
she got all
Here you go.
gangster, right? She's like watching everyone hawking it. That's
Yeah.
fine, that's great.
That's funny because Frank tells me I have the worst weed etiquette in the world, and he makes me self-conscious about it. And then when our friend Aaron told us, he's like, "You really do have really bad weed etiquette," and I was like, "I know."
Not when I was there.
Not when you were there, because I
No,
was.
you were doing
because
great.
I was being very aggressive that day. I think I was very aggressive towards Frank, very aggressive towards everyone that day, and then I just petered out, and I had to go lay down.
Yeah.
It was
And then you'd
like,
have this amazing
I came in
multi-hour session
hard,
with Angela.
and that was it.
So to bring it to my point is, look at, all right, you couldn't, according to you.
Oh, I couldn't do anything.
No,
when it came to it.
beyond, when someone just goes, I can't, when someone does that, right? Like, oh, I wish you could, no, like me with paperwork, her with rolling.
Yeah, what was that? I saw your post about paperwork. What were you freaking out about paperwork that you actually posted online? Whoa, I'm sorry. Let's move on, bro. Killing the high vibe here.
It took Paula
so
6 months of knowing Frank.
So everyone has a fear of something, right? Okay,
Frank's
so hers
is paperwork.
rolling. I can't do it.
Oh, we're talking about me now. Sorry.
Paula's was, I cannot do it.
I cannot do it.
Right?
I can't.
I showed up here and there was one done, and she's like, look what I did. Okay, now I'm not just praising because and smoking pot and talking about that. She couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
100%. Right? So then something occurred that was like, well, no one's gonna roll for you.
Yeah, so you better
So maybe I'll just try. And she didn't try on a rice paper, right? That they're like less than a penny. No, she takes out the hemp wraps and then rolls a perfect one. Right?
That a girl?
Even if you stitch something. Now, this is from someone that doesn't know how to do that stuff.
Okay, so check this out.
So I think the 420 world,
Yeah, but I think that's so I was just in this class she's going to be on the show with us next too. She's going to run the meditation for the show and the show this week. So I think we're going to do this every week, probably on Sundays from here on out. So this one is I think what we titled our Arcturian Council meeting or something to that effect. But tapping into, all of us have had a lot of experience. I know you have too, Frank, and that's why it just fits perfect with Arcturian fractals and different dynamics and nuances. So has Zach, and so has Claudia. And Claudia runs Golden Age Alchemy, and I think it's mainly through Instagram, and she's got a Facebook group and stuff too. But I was just in a class where she teaches, a 4-hour class, teaches people how to astral project, and just beautiful, like the way she lays stuff out. I mean, there's so many people doing really cool shit. Right. For the collective and just for people, for wherever they're at, so we're going to get on, and really it's going to be a conversation a lot about the whole Arcturian dynamic. We'll be able to pull up like Arcturus up on the screen and just whatever comes up, and we're going to just dive into that energy, that fractal, that portal, if you will, and just tune in, man, and just see what comes through and just talk and see what comes through our organic conversation, because the fractals of whatever that is inside of our own DNA. So it's really a conversation with parts of our DNA that haven't potentially been epigenetically activated because we haven't been in this group before. But now that we've created the space and this time together, magic can happen, because that's how shit works, yo.
But it is how shit works. It is. It's one person believes in another person, and then they talk to a third person, and that third person says, yeah, I see it.
Wait, doesn't it start just like you said?
Triangulation.
Right?
One person.
All you need is one person to believe in you. One person. And I always say, now that I have animals around me, I'm like, yo, if you have an animal, you can look at the animal and do it for you're the hero to that creature. The hero. right?
Yeah.
It wants not my
Well,
rock.
tell them what you and your mother were talking about with the animals. She was going down the list, and you were like,
My mother was giving me nonsense about the animals. Hey, maybe you shouldn't get any more. I'm like, no, I'm getting more, right? And they're not pets; they're family,
their family.
right?
Yeah, no
The
doubt.
birds. If I walk outside and I see a bird, family. If I see
Yeah.
a cat, I'm like, oh, hi, little cat, little kid, and that's my family. We're gonna start thinking on that level. And she was like, oh. Right. She looked at my grandfather. Then I walked out of the room, and she's like, oh my goodness, I love what this kid's become. Right. So it was really funny to hear that. I thought she was gonna say, get out of here with your stupid stuff. But no,
No,
she
she's
was
very
like,
supportive.
wow. But what we're turning into. All right. So I'm like that. You just rolled. Right.
Oh yeah,
Aaron's got the show
magic
going.
is
He went on
happening
a
since-
pilgrimage.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Right.
They
So
both
we're
did.
doing things like
Unexpected, unheard of.
so yeah, if I would have
things.
told you
Yeah.
like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where you'd be at right now, you might laugh like, get this kid out of here. Right.
I have to wait for Frank if I want weed. I sit there like a baby bird, basically with my mouth open, just waiting for him to be ready to roll something. And it's funny because I started to roll those paper cones, and I loved it. But then I bought these smaller cones and I hated it.
Yeah.
So then I use them now to roll the hemp wrap cones. And
These hemp wraps are the best things
it's
ever.
amazing. Frank is so happy because I'm off his back and he doesn't have to do
Oh,
anything for me. So this is
It dawned on me. Yeah, it dawned on me that people might think those are fancy or special. Like we get those. That's at all the pot shops around here. Totally know what you're talking about. Those are great.
Oh yeah,
Those hemp wraps.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? Skill levels are developing. This is
totally.
it's skill in general, right? So like creatively, my writing went up. And I know shout outs to KG right now, my partner, Sons of the Sun. I do not consider writing on paper rap lyrics.
I mean, look,
paperwork, no matter how much you want to regard it as paperwork. Technically, you might be correct, but Frank's gonna just erase that and put that in the box and go, nah.
Yeah,
that's fun. The creativity.
Frank's got to get through some paperwork in the next couple of days, and it brought me back to when we first met. I made a promise to his mother that I probably shouldn't have made because I didn't know her that well. I was like, I promise you, I will help him get through his paperwork. And she went, yeah, okay. Because she didn't think so because he was doing it for 2 years. So she went, yeah, okay. And I said, no, I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word. But she didn't know me, so she didn't know what my word meant.
Yeah.
And then I said, let me tell you something. I promised your mother we're getting through this paperwork if it kills me. And it took probably about 2 months of prep work, just talking about it. And then actually gathering the information. And then once we started to fill the applications out online, because I helped him 1 page at a time. Like we did 1 page and then we stopped. And then we did another page one day and we stopped. like he was 4. Like, okay, we can only do 15 minutes of content at a time.
All right. So
but it got done. And it got done correctly. They didn't send it back
Aaron,
first time.
If you would see me in the street as a younger man, there was like a point like Frank's all right, but not when he's with those guys.
No.
Because you see some stuff where you'd go,
Frank,
that dude's afraid of deer and paperwork.
Yeah. Okay. Because he's a gorilla who would probably
no doubt.
shit in between
As you're putting somebody up against the wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He's an
dude, on the a little bit. It's an animal. You like it, Paula. You like it.
Oh,
I want to ask you a question.
I do.
I know, it's awesome.
What? Okay, so a lot's been going on. I know we've been playing for the last 50 minutes, right? We've been having a good time. Look, the object of the whole thing is we're trying new things. Succeeding. Okay, we're succeeding in that. Thank you, really, really.
I succeed.
Sending you positive
vibes. I succeed personally in everything I try.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I get it.
And
I know you do.
And he does.
I know it. I know. Yeah. Oh,
I'm
dude.
worthy.
Wait.
Shut up. Is that the toolkit, bro? Is that the toolkit?
No, it's actually Thor's hammer. And I'm worthy, and Paul is worthy.
Oh, I'm totally worthy.
Hold on. You keep chatting. I'm here.
Sorry. Oh, I know you're here. Yeah.
So
look at this.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the toolkit one.
Oh,
that's the one I got. My mom got it for me for Christmas, for me and like my brother, and for Nate, because Nate's yeah, man.
Oh, Nate got one too.
Yeah. Yep, we all did.
That's really
sweet.
awesome. Oh, by the way, shout outs to Ra and Eye of Ra. I'm wearing the Tensor Tools.
Oh, he's been wearing
I've
it.
been
Yeah.
wearing it
Hey,
in the sun
let
and
me-
what?
Dude, if
Crazy.
these Tensor tools, this didn't come from Raw, but I've got several of these. So if he sells them and stuff, yeah, they're legit, man. I've been using them for a
I
couple
have
years,
another
different
one,
versions.
big circle
A big
one. And
circle.
the big circle one makes my heart
Mhm.
palpitate too much when I put it on. So I'm wearing the little Jesus, space Jesus.
Yeah, the
looking
energy
character.
that
Yeah.
comes off these are
Except,
good.
except he's not.
It's
He's not on the
onkish.
cross. He's just
Yeah, it is onkish. Yeah.
It is onkish.
right. Walk like an Egyptian. Yeah.
Oh,
Meh.
So check it out. I got a question.
Yeah.
Because
do
this is what everything's based on. Since last week,
go ahead.
I went through.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all right, those that know me know I don't talk to my father. We know about this on the show. I'm not going to get into this, but he wrote me. So then I'm like, oh, the end of the world, right? And then it became like a joke that way. And then it came into something else,
Mhm.
right? And then he wrote me again and I refused to answer. And then his wife passed. And I was like, damn. And then I held on to this little nugget of, I'm not
That one little piece that was hanging on. Yeah.
gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting him up. My brother hit him up, and he was. My brother got it the worst, and he was just like, "No, I just I'm a better person. I become the dad that I wished he was." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh, okay." I'm like, and my brother saw a part of me. I talked about it last week that I was like,
Mhm.
"You shouldn't have seen that. Like, I should not have snapped like that in front of this guy." But I did, so it was a lesson learned. Man, I wind up just writing them.
After all that.
Right?
But
And
but Frank did it on his terms.
and it just
Totally.
it was like within that 24-hour period where I was fighting it. And then I learned during that period of gritting my teeth and saying no, I'm not going to be able to pass through the eye of the needle holding on to this thing.
Nope. Not
Whatever
that.
your description of the eye of the needle is, the new energy, that hourglass, when you drip through, you can't fall through that hole carrying a whole bunch of stuff. You got to just fall through, right? And okay, so I let it go, and then he wrote me, and he said, "Oh, I love you, man," and we left it just as that.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that was pleasant." And then okay, what is your definition? So I did that, and then went through 3 days of hell.
But it was.
Okay,
pleasant
I
for
felt
you.
great for what I did.
Right.
Okay, so then now once that occurred,
You had to purge it.
yeah,
Had to finally
okay,
leave
for
you.
3 days, I literally went into panic heaven.
Mhm.
Started the night I was on your show. I look weird
Yeah.
if you watch the video.
3 days.
My
days
face
of
looked
hell.
puffy. My belly got fat. I started going, well, what's going on? I thought I was getting sick, but I wasn't sick at all.
I was.
And,
Your ovaries were hurting.
My ovaries. Listen,
I
I told my
Yeah,
mother,
that time of the month,
I
Frank.
know exactly. That's what I told her. I said, I sound like a
Mhm.
woman, a 45-year-old woman going through that
Yeah,
time
yeah.
that month. And
Dude,
I'm
so-
not surprised, but I'm in touch with my sacred
Yeah.
feminine. So why
That's
wouldn't
right.
I? And I would purge it for you. Just
Mhm.
being with you, we're connected. So if you were in pain in any way,
Well, I was.
it
I was
would
sick
just
this week. So
come
you were
out
purging. Yeah.
through me
I had
sometimes.
a series of panic attacks.
Panic
But
attacks,
I got through
anxiety,
them. It was horrible.
and it got worse and worse. So it broke last night or yesterday. I stopped shaking. I was shaking terribly for 3 days. So I was like, why am I shaking? Why am I shaking? Why am I shaking? Like my mother was watching me eat and she's like, listen, what's wrong with you? You on drugs? And I'm looking right at her like, I can't stop my hands from shaking. I was making Michael J. Fox jokes and she was staring at me like, don't do that. And I'm going, look at my hands. And then
Right.
I was running outside going, I don't know what to do. That's why I'm choppy with people sometimes. I go
Right.
through these.
But then you stood here and everything went
And
back to normal.
everything broke through.
Mhm.
Now, that's defined as compression breakthrough. From what I'm understanding. Yeah, you smiling because you know what I'm going to say, right?
I like the way you say it. Keep going.
I heard that from I'm not sure. It might have been Andrew Bartis.
Maybe, yeah.
The idea of breaking through layers of new energy that it would make you lighter, but as it hits you, you're heavy still. So it peels off.
You have
the
to
gunk.
push that stuff.
So it's like you're
through.
marching through,
Yeah.
but during that, your teeth starts to hurt all of a sudden. Your joints
You get
hurt.
yes.
It
Headaches,
feels like gout
yes.
toe shows up, right? My back, my balls, my neck, and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
because your cells,
Okay, so
the cells in your body
yeah,
have memory,
yep.
and you have to push
Yeah,
that
let
shit through. Go
let
ahead.
let me and Paula explain it to you because Paula knows what's up. Paula knows. That's why Paula's my favorite. So are you,
Go ahead.
Frank, but
Yes.
Paula's my favorite.
Grandma, I love you.
Yeah. Oh, it means the world to me, Paula, and that you made that owl. You know, I stood there and like numb and like almost crying. Like it means the
Oh,
world
good.
to
I'm
me,
glad.
Paula. Yeah. So okay, so think about this. So you've been in the home of your ancestors, right? It wasn't directly your father that you're taking care of, it was your grandfather. Is that your biological grandfather?
Yes.
See,
Okay, so there's an article that you could probably look up. It came out. I mean, there's probably multiple articles, but it's about like your voice affects your DNA and the DNA of your children and your parents more than other people. So when you speak, that's why speaking affirmations and things literally can change your epigenetic expression. And so you put your DNA back in the morphogenic field around your grandfather, your bloodline. So any issues they haven't dealt with, your DNA is coming into resonance with those because you deal with your issues. The traumas come up, and that synchronistic opportunity to reconcile with your father, you choosing to acknowledge that. The shaking, to me, just the image I was getting was like your myofascial tissue, like Paul was saying, releasing the trauma in your cells. Like Zach said that a friend said to him, that here's a lot. If you don't deal with your issues, they go into your tissues or something like that, something to that effect. But the same paradigm. So you choosing to observe the resentment or the hatred or the frustration there, and to deal with it in your own way, writing the letter, doing those things. That's a way to transmute the energy. It's giving words, like the left brain words, to our feelings, to being able to write it out, even if you never send it, right? To write it out, something you wish you could say to your dad or something, burn it in the fire, transmute it, whatever, and then doing whatever you need to do, yoga, additional things to clear that resonance out of your myofascial tissue or your cellular memory, so that you now carry in your DNA the frequency that's healed. So that will retroactively affect your father and your grandfather.
on a new karma wheel, to add to what you're saying, say the karma is being removed, or you eat up your karma, you're done, and then you create more karma by your awareness and responsibility of the situation, and you're like, the guy's already reached out, right? He's already said, man, I love you, man, sorry. Like, well, what am I supposed to do, right? It's not sorry enough. Like, I'm like, I don't want to
Yeah.
get stuck into the karma wheel and have to come back.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this
Your
guy
apology's not good enough.
be
You
my
didn't mean it.
kid,
Yeah.
and then I have to deal with this
Mhm.
in another life. I'm not coming back.
Right. You don't want to do it again.
I'm not doing this no more.
Let it go.
So
Right.
I love you. We got to keep it
Come
moving.
on, man.
You know,
Beautiful.
and
I
at
100%.
the same time, you know what I found myself doing? I took a really nice shower at my grandparents', right? I had like one of those intense hot showers. I
Mhm.
shaved my head. I said to myself, I don't know why, it just clicked into my head, but I do this for people sometimes that allow me into their circle, and I'm allowed to bring my energy to you,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
I'll dragon fire, violet flame your whole house. Everywhere we're standing, everyone around you, I'll back everything off of you. I'll just make sure. And it's just random and stuff. So I thought about the
Mhm.
house. Now, they had a sewer leak back in the day and a black mold problem, and everyone got terribly sick in that house, but it's a big, beautiful house. So I was telling them they can't fix what you have. You have to move. They got to like dig this whole place up and do what they got to do. And he was like, no, I'm staying. So he like held on to that and got really sick. So when I looked in at the house, remember, and I go, poop container, right? The
Mhm.
house is like surrounded by shit, literal poop.
Mhm.
So that drags in etherically. It's like saying, here's a great place to anchor to those shitty beings.
Because it lowered the energy.
It
around the
automatically, what are you going to
house,
do? It's like sitting in the poop. So what I did was I found myself going, you ready? Here it comes. Because I remember saying once, I looked in on him during one of my experiences, and the portal opened, and it was just demons surrounding him. And then they looked at me and tried to come through, and I was like, close it.
Mhm.
And then he said, okay, not this time, thank you. And he was just catching a beating, and it really hurt me to not just go in there and help.
Mhm.
But I can't take on your demons if you're not going to take them on. I
Totally.
can only back them off of you so you could stand up and put
But
your
you
cape
could-
and shoes on and get into the battle.
But you could transmute the energy around the house.
That's what I'm saying, but it comes right back.
Right.
So to take that hit, you know what it does to us.
I know.
It does to
Look
the
what
cats.
it did to me. It got me sick.
You've seen what it did to
It's
Squeak, what
like
it brought in this home.
I ate up all that energy for 2 weeks, and then I got sick. I had to go home and transmute it, and now I feel better. But I'm still like, it's the residuals. I purged. I know I was purging for the house.
Yeah. Well, now we're covering 2 homes.
Right.
Right. So it's the ley line. We
Right.
finally got it secure because there hasn't been any issues
Right.
here.
Right.
And then you go there and it's like, let's knock the demons. And then
Right.
the house next door burnt down and the house next door is being sold. So it's weird. There's like this big space opening
Right.
where you where there was kind of stuff that's and questionable, you could now just shove your energy in and go get out, because there's no one there.
There's nothing anchored there.
Yeah, like there's no
Right.
human there to go, fuck the neighbors, right? No, they're all gone.
Right.
So now you just push. But if you don't push, because there's garbage inside of the house that burnt and all that, you start to, the buildup that occurs. Like I went and bought a weed whacker just to knock the weeds back on the other side, because if I don't, it'll ruin the summer, because no one's going to clean. So the awareness of it is like, yo, you got to keep this clean, or else here it comes, and you'll have swarms of insects.
And bad energy, low energy.
Low energy. Thank you. But that's what you're asking for if you don't take the responsibility to do something. Yeah,
and it's good to point out, because that's even in this class we were teaching. I mean, she reiterates in there too. The point is, these are techniques to do this, and they're obviously effective. She's done her own studies. She does them. She uses them, but she's reiterating to people that it's trying to assert your own sovereignty. So we don't have to keep coming back to someone to learn how to do, astral projection or cleansing ourselves or cleansing our area, so that we learn basically when we go to someone to get help, it's in a time that we just don't have the tools at that time to do that. So ideally, when we're going to YouTube channels or learning something or paying someone for a session or whatever that might be, or asking someone to clear us, I think part of it too is us learning how to articulate those things. Like, for example, I was in a situation recently with someone who I went to the store for 10 minutes and I came back, and this friend of mine, that she was actually in my car and she was seizing, and she just went into seizures. And so when I came in, at first it's like in 3D, totally unexpected. So processing logically, okay, what is she doing? Is she like messing around? Is she, whatever. When I tuned into what was going on, I just settled into, and this ties into, so like even simpler things, like Paul, when you were talking about being able to pick it up really fast and rolling really well the first time, like when Taylor and I were at the cabin, was the last weekend? Man, it's been a long week. There's a canoe there, but I haven't canoed maybe a handful of times in my life, not enough that I know how to canoe, right? And so we figured, okay, we talked about this concept, okay, because let's just tune into our DNA. There's ancestors in our history, I'm sure, that canoed really, really well. So let's just tune into that and just kind of figure it out, right? And it really didn't take very long, 30 seconds, a minute, couple minutes. Like, I feel like we were rowing like we've been doing it our whole lives, and you don't even think
muscle memory kicks in.
Yes.
Right.
So like past lifetime or other lifetime or our own DNA, the actual 80% that's junk because they don't see it in coding proteins. It's a lot of data. It's a lot of information. And I think that's muscle memory and neural pathways that we can tune into from other lifetimes. That's why so many of us have already done these things before. We remember.
I agree.
Yeah, man. Your own Akashic records.
Even if you didn't do it, I could tap into you who did it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Live your life. I know people are going to go, no, you can't. I'll be like, you could get the basic structure. You can get the basic structure. I was just talking about
it's all in the cloud.
Using strategy from past lives during my football games and not realizing it till now.
Right, because you're always going to be that person over and over and over again.
Right. I was talking about this earlier before you came on. You guys were discussing when you were younger how you had something and you were like, it was like your awareness of like coming through maybe Christianity or something, but you went through it one way, he went through it the other, and it was right before I came on the air, so we could actually go back and check this out. But I sat there and I had to check myself. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me think about that. And I didn't have what you guys had at all.
Oh yeah, I was telling
and I said mine comes from war.
Yeah.
It's like a strategic military war guy. Where does this where's this guy come from? Why do I strategically like thinking this way all the time, where you guys are coming in from this section? I couldn't imagine that. I'm like, that's, when you get to know someone and where they're coming from, all of a sudden I was like, wow, they become the teacher to me. All of a sudden, the two of them, totally. Zach and Aaron, became teachers. And I was like, okay, I'm listening to this. Because I had no concept.
Because it resonates with you.
Dude, but that triangulation and the way we're doing those conversations, that's the point. It's the same thing with you. And it was nice that we did it in the dynamic that it wasn't like, because the majority of the shows, I think we're going to try to mainly just have casual conversations. More people get on the show, get to know who they are, to promote people actually making content or doing whatever, just doing something for the collective in some way, or just cool people. You don't have to be doing something. So just, there's plenty of cool people Zach and I met also. They may have never done a video before. They might be really nervous. It's fine. You're welcome, more than welcome to come on, chat with us behind scenes. Yeah, and then Zach said past life conjugation or wage conjugation or coherence in some way, with our DNA, which, okay, tie that back into the more dramatic story that I started and totally rabbit trailed off of. So in this moment of this friend of mine seizing, there's nothing in me that was nervous or scared or freaked out. I've had plenty of my own seizing experiences with and without entheogens, and trying to figure them out. What's going on in my tissues, what's going on in my body. I feel these other higher frequencies coming in. It feels like they're moving those out. So I'm just tuning into whatever's present, not being freaked out by it, not reacting, but responding. And I think responding is when we can settle into our soul in any given moment. And I was able to lift her up, and I just put my hand on her heart and started speaking to her soul. I mean, just words, just speaking to her as a person, and being very, very calm. At one point, I was tapping her nervous system just to help reset a little bit so she could settle back into her body. Now, there's a lot of interesting dynamics to that. I mean, her pupils were completely dilated. There's almost no iris, and she wasn't conscious. She wasn't there, right? And the more I would just engage her, and now listen, here's what's beautiful about this, because it got to a point when she would start to recognize me when she's coming back a little bit. She recognized me as a man. I could see what she was recognizing in me, that masculine energy, but not as this person who she knew. And she responded to that and got freaked out and started to attack me, right? But she didn't know what she was doing, like physically attack me. And I just knew in the moment, immediately what came to my mind and my awareness was trauma, like past trauma she's had with a man, because I knew it wasn't me. I wasn't offended. She wasn't mad at me, even though she's like clawing at me and trying to bite me or whatever, right? I'm like, this is trauma. So I was able to wrap her up enough just to keep her calm, look her in the eyes and call her by her name, call her back to her body, call her to be present, just being with her, right? And she came back and we talked through a lot of different dynamics, and there's rooted in some traumas, and we talked through some of those and just went through some techniques to teach her to protect her dream space and how to go into her dreaming time, and just a lot of different dynamics. And but in that moment, so it reminded me of a dream in college. Someone shared this with me. His mom had a dream, I think actually. He had a dream, or his mom did, but it's always stuck with me because it works. And this is a perfect real life example, where in this dream, he was in the hospital and there's this girl there, and she was totally demon possessed and just manifesting and cursing and just doing this whole thing. And he's trying to cast out this demon. And no matter what he does, he can't cast this demon out of her. And so he freaks out because he was like in the sovereignty, he's doing good, but like it starts to freak him out because nothing he's learned to do or can conceive of is working. So he leaves the room and he's terrified. And eventually when he recollects himself, he looks back in the window and he sees his mom. His mom had picked up this girl in the bed, put her in her arms, and just began to rock her or sing to her. I mean, it wasn't so much the words, it was the energy. There wasn't any fear there. She loved her. She picked her up and she held her, and the demon left. And I think that's what we're here to do, man. Like just holding eye contact with people and just being present.
She had
dealing with their own. Right. And she was able to just love.
That's beautiful.
So that to me, that's love and light, right? People are like, oh, just send love and light at it. You really can. Okay. But there's a wishy-washy bullshit side of that. Really.
Oh, I know you can. I know.
Right. But you sure fucking can.
And when it's sent to me, I feel it. When someone sends me something, I feel it.
Because of you, Paula, on my phone, 202 every day. 4 is a portal to me, it reduces to 4. And it says send love. And I always send love, 202, because of you. I love that. I feel it. Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Every time.
I feel it. True. But people feel it. You feel it. People feel it. They do. People feel it.
Listen, it works. That's why I use
this nice woman, Wendy, took the time out of her life to listen to this show and to respond to something that I said and actually mail me a cream to make me feel better. This woman took time out of her life for that.
Yeah.
For me. She doesn't know.
That's sweet.
She doesn't know whether or not she hasn't been with me from the beginning. She doesn't know whether or not everything I say is bullshit. She doesn't know. She's taking it on faith, and she's saying this girl needs help and I can provide help, and I'm going to do that. And that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. She doesn't know me.
That's what the future is all about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would call that, or I guess a way to call that would be like spirit-led or spirit-led gift giving, or ways to honor people. Like, I've talked about this a lot, Frank.
Oh, I believe spirit-led. Definitely spirit-led.
Yeah.
Definitely. People just want
also
to help people.
Well, and just and so me and Frank talks a lot. I've done this to you even on the show, I guess, naturally, because I try to cultivate my life around honor. So when you're finding people like Frank, the way that him and I connected, I consistently tell Frank how much I appreciate how honorable of a person he is. I've spent I don't know, 80, 100 hours we've talked off camera the last year, and like we've had a lot of conversations, and and about you guys in general, but just people. So that can be words or gifts, or you see a need and you fill a need, and there's no expectation of like that they acknowledge me or they return. That you in that moment intuitively, spirit led or whatever, intuitively saw a need, went out of your way for no reason really, just like I love them, they're cool people, here, let me send this thing to them, or let me write them some notes saying, hey, your show, you said this, it really affected me, whatever. And like, to me, honor makes what's make the world go round, man. When you can honor people genuinely, you find things to honor in them. It's like it creates that cycle in your life, and it just keeps going. It's nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you
That's
find
really
out
beautiful.
you find out that it's not people aren't as there's a lot of angry people out there, but there's a lot of awesome people out there as well. And
There really are.
there's more good people than not. So
there are.
There's a lot more.
Because
when we
have
can
to believe
draw it out of
that
them.
it's so.
A lot of people think about it too, like,
Right.
so we're just the way we are. It took you forever to believe Paula just loved people that much and was that nice, right? It takes a while, and you're a good person, right? At a core, like obviously.
Admittedly, it took him a very long time. Secretly, but he said it. He said it to my face. I believe you, but I know in his heart he didn't believe it. It took him a long time.
It turned into something where
even his mother said to him the other day, "Wow, Paula really does know how to cook." Are you fucking kidding me? I've been cooking for 5 years. 5 years. I've been cooking for this lady for 5 years. 5 years.
So
Are you fucking kidding me?
I talk about this all the time when you say,
yeah.
How many times do you need to see it before you believe it? Does it need? All right. Do you need to be part of it? Do you need to witness it from across the street? Does it need to happen to you directly? Does it need to come across and slap you? How many of those? Because we're willing to go. Just tell me how many. And then you go down this path, and it's like, coincidence. But coincidence isn't true. But this is back in the beginning, and then that ramps up into this momentum on her end, where I'm just watching, and I'm like, it's not even eating of the words. I'm witnessing something that I wish I could bottle it and share it with you. That's how ridiculously intense it is on such a simple level. But the reaction, let's say the environment's reaction to her, the animal's reaction to her, people's reaction to her.
Okay, so think about this.
Working through issue after issue, and it's just working.
So Paula sits in her knowingness, in her seated self as a queen, right? A queen of the earth. That's why wherever she goes, whenever she puts her foot, things come into harmony around her. She doesn't have to give conscious thought to it. She doesn't have to go into these meditations and see things.
Snow White.
She knows. Yeah. So her heart sings to the birds the way Snow White did. But it's not necessarily through words. It's just through her beingness, the way Paula is, because Paula's fucking wonderful.
Thank you.
She does this thing with Little Bear.
Welcome.
So Little Bear comes into the room, and she'll go, "Where's my little bear?" Right, like really loud, and then squeaky though loud, and then he responds to her.
He sings back
exactly in that tone, right? And I'm like, oh, he sounds just like her, like he's trying to. So he does that when he calls to her. It's really wild, and she'll go, "Wow, he's over here, come!" And then you hear him going, and I'm like,
back.
It's the tone and the frequency and intent is getting the message through. Because I remember when I was the cat person going, I remember looking at the other cats around me, and I was like, this is weird. It's happening in English. They're like, just so you can understand it. But I was going, someone was removed from our presence, and then they popped back up differently right in front of us. And I was the doubting Thomas in the room. So I was like wanting to attack the woman cat. We were little cat people, and we were inside, and we were going, no, that didn't happen. Couldn't have happened. Did that happen? It was very simple. And I could see where they were coming from. And then boom, it happened in front of them. And I became the witness to it and went, oh, it's real. And then all the cats were bowing and doing all kinds of weird jumping and stuff. And I'm going, oh, I start shaking, and they pull me out. They're like, dude, have a little faith. Have a little faith. Remember that stuff. I'm like, oh, holy shit moment after holy shit moment. And watching Paula just walk through it. It's like her meditation is just doing what she's doing.
We brought all of
like
this
living life
energy to his mom's house for the last 2.5 weeks. I've been home though. and it's working. You know, she's starting to believe it. She really is starting to believe it, and it's good. She's like, you know, it's just so funny. She's like, wow, she really can cook, and I'm like, I've been cooking for you for 5 years,
I think
lady.
he bibbity bopped out by accident.
Oh, all right. Well, he'll come back in,
He'll
right?
show back up. You can take your headphones off till he pops
And
back up.
you know, it's just this weird energy, you know, and it's, if I go away, I can pull all of that energy with me, and I won't do that. I try to leave it there for them. But Frank has been making such
I
a
grounded myself.
making such an improvement in the house, and things are really starting to turn around. Like energetically, things are really starting to turn around, and it's great. You know, it's really great, and she's starting to see it's not. It doesn't have to be that heavy. It doesn't have to be that heavy. Like,
It's
stop.
not what everyone makes it out to be.
Stop.
The hard work is your
Yeah.
internal structure work.
Right.
Stop making a big deal about everything and just get to creating. Right. So
Right.
to check out what I did. So it took a while to anchor my energy in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it anchored in 100%. It like locked in, and I looked at my mother and I was like, you ready? And all my grandmother's stuff is in the house. So the first day she's like, I need help with this. So I go, I got your back. Like, I love hanging out with my mother. We started like really hanging out. Like, in 5 minutes we did 7 bags of stuff for Salvation Army, whatever. I was like, look, it's all good. The next day we did 26.
Oh yeah, it's like 26 bags you have in the dining room.
Right. So this is all stuff that needs to be purged from the home.
Right.
Good or bad,
To clear the space.
up or down.
Yeah, to clear out that energy.
It's time to clear it out.
He also had a talk with her about all of her cleaning products.
I fixed the mic, by the way. Remember I told you I have this fixed so we can talk to Aaron.
Oh,
and
okay.
You ready? Watch this.
All right.
Say what's up.
What's up?
You hear it?
Yeah.
It's much better, right?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
It was dead before. What's up, kid?
I'm back. My phone tweaks out every so often. Dude, think about this, like, just as a random side note, because me and Zach were talking about how amazingly fast and how like clean everything looks. I'm running off a hotspot on my phone on a tablet I just bought, because I'm like, fuck it. The only way this is going to work, I need a tablet. So I got the Surface Pro, did StreamYard, and we just threw this all together. So as nice as this looks, my sister helped me clean up my place. I've got a little cubby here, but the place is a disaster. And I'm doing this thing every night, so I've got to like fix my life literally right behind the camera every single night. But we're just doing what we have, man.
It'll get done. It'll get done.
Yeah.
Little by little. It'll get done.
Okay, so Frank, do we want to dive into this whole DMT Anunnaki experience, because we still haven't broken down? That was like 3 weeks or a month ago almost.
I mentioned it on the show. I talked about it.
Yeah. Because it's not like we have to break a lot down. I feel like it ties right into everything we're saying, but it just loops it in. All right. So this when I was at the Morgans, oh man, they have this awesome, they got room to sleep, like 10 people. It was a beautiful place they're staying in, and the like the upstairs guest bathroom or whatever it was, it's been remodeled a few times, I think, over the years or whatever, but like it's this nice big like oval spa tub, deep tub, and it is not often I fit in a bathtub, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm definitely doing that. Oh, it's a safe space too, and they're okay with this. I'm definitely also smoking DMT in the bathtub, you know. And
no fear,
dude,
we're already in water.
Yeah, I'm fine. I know energetically it's fine. They're cool with it, and like that's where I did a lot of stuff while I was over there. So anyway, so smoked, and then as I was just resting into the water, for me, like my immediate, even subconsciously, I feel like I'm in this place all the time. But then when I have just even in visualization, meditation, but especially entheogen experiences, I think as a quick like start point, I go to my womb space. You can call it heart space, whatever. But for me, it's like womb waters, interdimensional waters. I've had experience on DMT being in the womb. We talked about that on the show. So it's the second episode you're on, by the way, if people want to see that. And you come in like half an hour, 45 minutes in, and you're on for a solid hour. And we're going on these shows, man, for 2+ hours. We're looking to do 6 to or 8 to 10 or whatever here every time. But the last 2 episodes have gone almost 4 hours. And, you know, not that you have to watch, but there's just stuff there to kind of put on in the background. We're just chatting and having a really good time.
This is what's going on, my man. You're falling into a realm where people want to dig a little deeper, and it's from the heart. So
yeah,
you're not coming from a place of mistrust and non-belief or conspiracy theory. You're literally having the conversation without any wall. There's nothing there. So you just go, all right, and the talking starts.
Right.
Well, it's cool because, sorry, go ahead.
No, when I was listening to you guys, remember I was in that back room for a while.
Yeah.
You had me contemplating things in my life immediately. But we talk all the time, but we do it to each other all the time. But listening
totally.
to the two of you, I started putting things into perspective. It was weird. It was like I was joining the conversation mentally.
Yeah.
Tuning into it and realizing once again, for as much as I know, here comes a lesson you don't know.
Yeah, all the time. And what's cool is when it comes through other people through an organic conversation, right? So you were just tuned in, so you were the triangulation point for you. And that's always true for anyone, no matter what show you watch or whatever. Like you can give 10 different videos from 10 different people on how to astral project, and it's going to resonate with, 10 different people 10 different ways. So it's how much do you engage in it? How much does it resonate with you? And so it is nice to come from a space, because me and Zach talk about it in the show, because we're trying to be just very casual. Like, we don't know each other super well. So we might get into some weird, like trying to figure out a chemistry between us. We don't know our backstories. So like we want to honor our each other's perspectives, not just assume, he thinks this is true. So we're figuring out our own perspectives, but we're doing it really fast and finding some really fun and funny places to go into.
Great. I watched Zach looking at him like, yeah. And then I was waiting for the comment, and the comment came back not as a negative comment. It came back as conversation. So this is
like a progressive thought
that there's a checkpoint going on, right? So people that would normally be like, no, it's my way, or it can't be like what you're even talking about, because that's how it used to be. And they get offended and people get upset. Now it's down to the surprise look. We're wearing masks but we're removed the mask. So now we want more mask removal. We want the
check this out. So on mask removal. So think about that. So what are masks? The masks potentially in this hypothetical thought experiment right now are facets of our ego. Yeah, identities, things that we identify with as us when we know that, I am much bigger than Aaron Michael Kesseler. But for the foreseeable future, I will exist here as Aaron Michael Kesseler. I have a mom and a dad and a lineage and family and an environment and all that stuff. But when you can come into places like this, is where you and I are doing this often and trying to intentionally do this. I've been doing this with different people over the last year, but especially recently, like Taylor and I, when we were up at the cabin, we were also doing Lucy up there, which is beautiful. And I've said this before, I don't know how long I'll say it before I lose excitement about it, but man, coming up on Lucy, everything makes sense, right? When everything's melting, because that's how quantum reality really is. Nothing's actually solid. Atoms even are, not even touching fingers. It's electrical impulses. If you really zoom in, matter, it's not touching. There's more space inside of you than there is matter, right? So seeding into those moments where time slows down and we're very naturally seeding into like many lifetimes of awareness and experience together, whatever's relevant to the interaction right now, because we're having conscious awareness, those memories, neural pathways, simultaneously existing other lifetimes are just present in this vessel. And we were having conversations for like 20 minutes and helping fix each other's bodies, like skin suit technology, like just understood what to do on the nervous system, on points on the body. Even though I didn't see energy stuff, you have a knowingness, you just understand. And in those moments, you just move.
To the moment of the experience of whatever's happening, when you submit to it, the gnosis comes through. And you're able to react. You've done it in front of me. I was under Aya. You helped me. I even heard you say at one point, I really don't know what I have to do or what I'm doing, but I know this is what needs to be done. And you guys were both working on me. I mean, who knows how to do that stuff, right?
Here's what's really interesting. So like people are like, if you want to judge a shaman by whether they've been in it for generations in the Amazon jungle or whatever, and I think actually Zach, that's where Zach went to have his ayahuasca experiences. He did all the research to find the right shaman, like ancient tradition, ancient culture, vetted it all. And I'm sure he can share more of his experiences at some time on the show. But whether you have that shaman, and if that's what you need in that resonance, or Frank, the neo shaman. Frank, I was in this class, this astral projection class. I don't know how many people were in there, 30-ish, 20-ish. 2 people were from the Bronx. And so we introduced everyone, spent like 45 minutes an hour. Everyone introduced themselves and talked a little bit. And so I talked about the show tonight because she was going to be on that, and also told them about you, that you're going to be on the show. So there's an ayahuasca neo shaman right there in the Bronx with you, man. Like right on. How cool is that?
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah. 2 people, and they're trying to learn about astral projection, you know, for their own reasons and just whatever the reason is. And how cool is it with everyone staying at home? Forget all the truth or conspiracy stuff. That'll take care of itself. Like there's people learning to connect to themselves, to astral project, to actually make these connections they literally have not given conscious awareness to because they've been busy just doing their life.
We don't have the time because the system is not allowing us freedom enough to take the break, to stop the wheel from spinning, to stop the screen from moving.
But now it has.
Right now, everything's
stopped.
Right, you're actually getting past the anger point. Like you're just like,
think of it like the snow. Like, and you get more snow over there than we do. We only get it once, twice a year. But the thing I love about the snow, there's a lot to hate about snow, right? How cold it is and all that, just a lot of stuff that can wear on you. But the novelty of snow, the first snow, like walking outside and it's dead silent, like the noise canceling headphones I have on, right? It just this whoosh of stillness and silence because the snow absorbs so much of that sound, you know. And so finding all this craziness, the COVID stuff, like we talked about before, like the Rubik's Cube Earth is kind of exploded, and this red sphere out here, root issues, fear, not knowing what's going on, their whole life's disrupted. It creates on the earth, if you're present and grounding now, even if you've never done it before and you're doing an astral travel class for the first time and whatever, there's a presence inside of yourself. It's like going inside of yourself. Oh, I've done that before. I've meditated a lot. But now, as everything's changing, the actual collective unconscious dynamics changing, the actual astronomical dynamics are changing, and the energies come from the sun. And last May, I think there's an article that came out that this explosion came from the central galactic sun, central galactic black hole, that they haven't seen in, I don't know, dozens or hundreds of billions of years or something. I mean, I don't know if I can measure that, but anyway, things are coming in. So it's like we have the most advanced DNA technology skin suit in the universe. It's this Ferrari we've been driving in, but there's been all these buttons on the dash that we've told don't work. And we've tried them throughout life, and they haven't worked, but now they will. So try again, man, because the answers are inside of you, and stuff that you thought didn't work before, it's going to work, and things you've never thought about before.
I mean, you know, the universe will push you into a position if you're not touching the button now to force you to touch the button, because if you don't push that button, you're not going to work very well in the next, whatever the next.
Right. So
journey.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be in pain
because it's exponential.
It's already painful
There's
enough.
no
We're getting rid of it.
Waste. It has to go quickly. Everything has to move at a very quickened pace now, and we have to keep up with it.
And you know what I want to say too about the show, because we're still developing this. Like we have we talk every night, usually afterwards. And what I was saying to Zach too, I'm like, because we get deeper and deeper into each other's. I think the last show is the best one for just seeing our organic chemistry develop. And like we really connected. And so as we just keep talking, it's like he starts to explain things, probably, and vice versa, that I haven't, like you and I do, Frank, like things that you don't really share to anybody. You haven't had an opportunity to explain it. And as I explain it, you're like, holy shit, I do that too, but in a different way. Or, oh shit, you doing it that way made me think about it this way. But there's just deeper and deeper connection. It's not like, oh, that's a little weird. It's like anytime we share something weird, it's just like, yeah, I get it. And this is weirder. Oh, I get that too. This is weirder. And we just keep going, right? And so when Zach and I have a phone, I'm like, dude, is this what soul family's like? If it is, fucking awesome. Let's ride this wave, man. This is great.
That is what soul family is like. And I'm going to give you an example of that. 3 years ago, Frank's friend, a fearless family friend, was in New York with his wife, and he wanted to see Frank. It was the day after Thanksgiving. Now, I had already had plans with Frank's mom to go Black Friday shopping the day after Thanksgiving. So they knew, and I knew I wasn't going to be around that day. And they came to the house, and it was wonderful. And I actually got to meet them for a little while, and they were lovely people. I did not cook anything. I was a terrible host. It was just my day. I wasn't supposed to be home. And his wife, Kenya, was physically beautiful. She was just a beautiful, beautiful looking woman, and very sweet. And she made one comment about her life, about her nephew, one string of sentences that was a checkpoint for me.
Totally.
Experience that I had 1 year prior to that. because that would have been 4 years ago. A piece of an I experience that I hadn't figured out 1 year prior to that. Just by her stringing those couple of sentences together, closed a very big hole in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never, she's not my friend. She's not someone I contact. I don't even think I wish her a happy birthday on Facebook, but she is part of my soul family and she will be forever
Yeah.
because she gave that gift to me, that gift of closure for that
Yeah.
one piece of information that I couldn't figure out.
It's like
It,
just at
Yep.
the right moment,
right
at the
moment.
right time, bang, the information comes out of left field out of someone you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And the connection is made, right? And you're like, what would have happened without that? And then you just take a step back and look in and you're like, oh, when I see you in time,
In time. Yeah. And
I will give you that breadcrumb
and you know,
that you
Beautiful. Yeah.
she was physically beautiful and just a beautiful inside and just a sweet girl. But
Mm-hmm.
if she was in my social circle, we would never be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of any reason, we just wouldn't be.
but that's how it's set up, right?
It
Well,
is
think
set up
We're
that
on
way.
think
different
of
access points.
There would never be a reason for her and I to have a
We're in
discussion.
different skin suits, rocking in different communities.
Exactly. There would never be a reason for her and I to have a discussion together.
So think about like the same paradigm, and I know you guys have talked about this on the show, and I think we're pretty in agreement with a lot of the paradigms on twin flame versus soulmates and that dynamic. A concept that I've been toying with because that's one that always comes up and can be a topic for people. But being a soulmate of the moment, right, or a soul family of the moment, but a soulmate of the moment, especially in the dynamic the way you describe it. Soulmates being many lifetimes together, not necessarily having to be together in this lifetime, but not the same as a twin flame dynamic, whatever. So in general, I think we have way more soulmate of the moments than we realize, but we think that should look like someone from the opposite sex and a monogamous long-term relationship. That's what a soulmate is. And I think it has more to do with presence. How present are you to encounter their soul in a brief passing, like Paula just described, or over a long period of time, a friendship like we're developing those dynamics, or just a short counter relationship, a friendship, whatever, last couple days, couple weeks, but you're so present at your soul, you guys can do some really cool shit and have some cool fucking conversations at a soul level in a short amount of time and just connect in millions of lifetimes of information. Now that happens all the time unconsciously, but I think we're in the age where we do that consciously. You're consciously present. You both just have an awareness. Whoa, we've got 36 lifetimes together, and just that awareness is there, and you talk. That moment in time we planned. I think more of those are happening.
I came in this lifetime to say hi, to drop some information.
Yeah.
Go in peace. You'll be fine. Yeah, I agree. I have very many.
Your awareness to this whole situation is exactly no. Let's check this
Oh,
out.
it's true.
Makes
He's honoring you.
not only happen more,
It happens all the time.
but
to
it's
me.
like he's saying, like you honor the situation, right? So your awareness and your responsibility to it of recognizing the checkpoint will send more checkpoints at you
Oh,
at a
absolutely.
quicker pace.
Absolutely.
And as you recognize,
Okay, and think about this.
Discussing this, but you live like this all the time.
I
But
do.
when the guys are discussing it, I'm like, Aaron, I can't be, as much as I want to grab something by the neck and choke it, I just want to love you instead.
Come on. Yeah.
Right. I said it the other day. I'm like, I know I want to take this thing and bash it, but however, I'm not going to do that because that is not me.
Right.
And I want to just purge that feeling because honestly, behind the rage effect of whatever makes me do that is this little kid that wants to just hug you.
Come on, man. Yeah.
To honor that kid.
Yep.
You live this way. So for you, it's easy.
Yeah. Paul's like, I know, Frank. Thanks for finally saying it. Now get it.
I feel, look, I used to have this argument with my family all the time when I was younger. How long does it take to fall in love with someone? And I said, for me, it takes seconds. I could fall in love in 10 seconds. And I mean that. And I mean it.
I know it.
It's those brief encounters with people that matter. It's remembering something of importance that I said that wasn't just important to me.
And remember, so like when we were there this last time I was there, so I was there almost a year apart, and you and I had some time. Yeah, we had some time both times, like just different times. We're hanging out all day, where it was just me and you, and we're chatting. And this time, remember, we started to have a similar conversation we had last time. Like, oh my God, we talked about this last time, didn't we, Paula? Like deep shit that just came out of nowhere that I totally forgot that Paula and I just sat in these beautiful present moments for like minutes or 20 minutes, half an hour, and had these dialogues. And it all came flooding back once we started having another dialogue.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. Because I think we're here to remind us.
Look what Angela did.
To remind each other. What Angela did for me that day, I could never repay her.
She started her on a path of not taking that medication.
It wasn't even that.
But it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the medication.
Pain in my shoulder.
All right, so it goes back to that. I wanted to say this earlier. When we stretch, and I was crying that time, it was like bad things were like coming up out of my I can't explain it, and I started crying, but all I was doing was these yoga sciatica stretches for like ultra beginners, sitting on the floor with Paula, but really holding into it, and then just something happened each time I turned, and I'm like, are we storing the shit memories inside of the muscle tissue or in the bone structure or something, and then it's like hidden in
it's cellular.
It's hidden. It's cellular, but it's like code written into your hologram.
It's memory. It's in your tissues. It's memory.
And which we have to purge that. That's why when they say do yoga, they mean what they're trying to tell you is you store all of your stuff within you, and as you
good and
become
bad,
flexible and open it up, it's like almost nothing sticks to you any longer. Well, that bad
and like. Yeah, and so okay, part of like with any truth or any teaching, it can be taken out of balance, right? So you are the all, so it can go to a place of dissociation. Well, I'm everything, so I don't really have to work on this body or do anything because I'm kind of everything, and I can close my eyes and go over the fuck I want. And like, I get it, but every morning you wake up in this body. This is where the majority of time your singular focus of awareness is in this vessel. So why wouldn't you make one of your primary priorities healing yourself physically, emotionally, psychically, all of it? Like, and then as you do, these beautiful conversations just happen, and the beautiful things just happen in your life as you focus on healing yourself, you heal the world, all that shit,
Yeah, so check it out. I'm gonna put an asterisk on that. On top of it, I dropped to the bottom, but then at the same time was like, I have to fix me no matter what. So, and I started to fix me, and I loved myself. So from the bottom, it started warm again. Like I felt like there were no cracks in my foundation, and I started rising. And the first thing I ran into was Paula. Right. So now I'm going through it full speed, in full agreement. You got me 150% for the entire journey. I told Aya, as soon as this happened, immediately. So I'm like working on me. And now the proof is in the pudding because I'm sciencing on myself. And then I turn and Paul is there, and she is the proof in the pudding already. Right. And as we move together, we're fixing and moving and, doing our thing. And then we're also doing the individual, and we're watching this happen. And it becomes this crazy experience of me going through it, and then watching you go through it, or in any direction, whoever, whenever, or me exploding through something, and then you sitting there like
just waiting.
Don't take this the wrong way. I'll say it like this, so it won't even be. It'll just, the master's just sitting there like, oh, you've hit that note. Welcome to the team. Right. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you've been here the whole time. But this isn't something that she could sit down and explain to me. I had to witness my stuff, go through it, regain memory here, release stuff here, the negative of it, and then be like, yeah, it's us. Because you could be like, yeah, I'm the all, and not do nothing for yourself and sit and meditate all day. No, you still, the reason why they make the master walk up the mountain with the water buckets, right?
Yeah.
You know why they do that, right? To keep him fit. Then when he gets to the top of the mountain, you can drink the water. Right? Or when you get back down to the bottom,
well,
you have water.
He's disciplining himself. So, but that's this
sound
life,
mind,
right?
sound body.
We have to live this earthly life. So we get caught in the shit. and it happens to everybody. But in order to play this game, in order to live this life, in order to go forward, we end up getting stuck in it. So we have to play this earthly game. But if we don't play the game, we don't get the clues by meeting other people. So we don't get the other puzzle pieces that we need to figure out what's going to happen next. And it's harder to move on. Aaron came back with us. He's good now. I got to put my headphones back on.
See, these technical glitches are on purpose to give your ears a break, Paula. It's because I love you.
I love you. But, I mean, I get what you're saying, though. It's these brief moments that can change your life. And
well,
people think life-changing events have to be monumental. They don't. It could be a way of thinking that you didn't have the day before, a moment ago.
Yeah, it's a moment ago.
Yeah.
Well, and I was like talking to my sister this weekend at the and we'll have to. Oh, we never finished the Anunnaki thing. I'm surprised nobody brought it up in the comments. I've noticed when I go off on rabbit trails, I do such a good job at whatever the hell I'd started to follow. When I lose myself, I've yet to find someone who can consistently be like, "Oh, you left off here," because like I don't know, I was following you too. What were you saying? Like, great, come on, it's my problem.
It's funny.
But like my sister this weekend at the cabin. So this is something I'm gonna do probably once a month. I want to just hold space to have cool shit happen. And I love fire. We've been talking about that and then working with that. So I'm gonna rent out an Airbnb. There's 7 or 8 guys who started a thread up in the area up here that started with, I think, a core group of fearless people. I think Michael Britt really took the initiative to start it. We've met up once or twice, done fires out at the Carlson's place up here, and then out at Aaron the Morgan's place. But I'm putting it up once a month, and just whoever can come can come. If it's just me, that's totally fine. I can go inside of me and do awesome shit for a weekend. And whoever shows up, just beautiful things happen. Plus, we have a plethora of tools to connect with each other, because that's all they are. It's tools that the plant medicines connect with ourselves and each other.
Listen,
right? So that's
infinite combinations of people that you feel that you can trust in a situation like that, and have love where you're like, yo, if I fall back, they'll catch me, or if I lay down, they'll protect me. It doesn't matter. We could all be under. I've been under Aya to the point where I don't know who I am, and if someone in the room needs me as a shaman, it turns off, and I get up and just do my job.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm waking up. I'll be like, what's happening? They're like, get ready. They're about to purge. Right. And I'm like,
okay, so
that's how.
So think about that. Yeah. So think about that as a shaman. Like, okay, is everybody shaman? On one hand, no. At the same time, everyone's your own shaman, right? But is everyone in those moments when you're in those group settings, sober or not, but especially under? Because like with you, okay, so that was the first time I'd taken mushrooms, and I only did like 1.5 grams, waited an hour, did a half an hour, did 1 gram. So it wasn't, and I remember part of my intentions going in that I just wanted to be present, because it was a different dynamic. This wasn't me doing them on my own. I'm with you. You're going under Aya. No, I've never even done that before, but like we've connected. I know my self-awareness enough, and I know things. I just want to be present in whatever way. If you need any kind of help at some point, that I'm available to do that. We'll have my own experience. And at that moment, I just knew to grab the tuning fork, go over your skull and down your spine. And that's when you're having those experiences in the womb and the divine feminine revocation we read before. But I knew in that moment, and I ended it, Frank, I don't know if you remember this. I thought of this, I think I said it on our show sometime in the last few days, but like how I closed that portal or ended that time. I did all that, I rested at certain points on your spine, and then I kissed you on the top of your head, just a big old wet kiss, right? And then just went back and did my thing. And I remember at one point too, and the point was, I just knew what to do. I didn't know till later that what in your experience, this is what happened. I was just aware of reading your energy, how you're responding. Yeah, and I think
worst scenario I could be in, and I've been in some bad ones, but to watch and go through when I went through that day I went, come on, like, are you serious? And like, I got somebody, I remember saying that, like, I got company. You're gonna make me look at and they were like eating and raping you, my mother, and then they were like looking at me like, you're next, right? But they were like lizard men and insectoids, and dude, it was weird. And then they were like, and I'm like, come on, just leave them alone. Enough already. And then they grabbed me, and I went, oh shit, right? Like, and it was brutal, dude. They were cutting me into pieces and eating me and growing it back and eating. And I'm going, this can't be happening to me with company here. And they're like, don't worry. And then the next thing I know, they kill me. They like literally kill me, kill you, kill my mom. And they're laughing in my face. It was the worst friggin' experience. And I wake up, it just snaps out at one point, and they're all looking at me, and then boom, I'm in a blue thing, like a cocoon or something, a womb, right? And then I hear you go bing with the thing up my back, and I go, where am I? And I knew who I was, and I'm like, wait a second. I got pissed off for a second that I was being born again. I thought I died. I'm like, oh, I'm coming back as a baby. I don't want to fucking do this again. Oh, it was terrible. But when you were hitting those notes, my spine resonated, but I saw this like the light, what you would describe as the light of the source. It would like come through the sound, and it would like wash over you, and then as it came up, it would come up and again. So it was like this weird thing happening to me. So I started feeling really good, like a little baby, like, oh yeah. And then I felt my mother started going, oh, and I went, oh, Mom, what just happened to us? And then it was like, it doesn't matter because we're all new again. And then it was you were doing whatever, and then I was born, literally born, and then everything was great, not good, great. And I'm like,
so okay, think
like,
about psychologically and neurologically, because the point is we all have our own experiences.
Thank God.
But what's the fruit of that? So you being born again. So a lot of the like one of the really common meditations I do, and it started from some of Andrew Bartz's material. I've just developed it as we're supposed to do, and he encourages to do, is to take those and develop them in ways that are nuanced to you, to make them your own thing. But doing a meditation of going back to see myself as a fetus in my mother's womb. It also is the over there sacred geometry and the seed of life and the first 8 cells. And like, there's so much to that. Your heart's the first neurological mind organ, you will, if that's created, and then splits off to your upper. And we talked about that on our show back in November, me, you and Angela. And then it splits off to your brain and your gut, and they're all parts of our mind and that whole dynamic. But so your nervous system starts in your mother's womb, starts taking on trauma, starts taking on effect. And so on the frequency, the tuning fork was 528 hertz. So the heart chakra, I think that's through the I don't know if that's through the solfeggio or whatnot. And I did that like through your whole system basically, but it wasn't stopping at like the chakra points. It was just where intuitively I knew I needed to stop along your spine, went all the way down to your sacrum.
It was fine on me from the bone on the bottom, lit up. When you went over it, it was like washing it with that light and sound. It was vertebrae by vertebrae. It was working on chakra by chakra. I can't
totally. So even think about that.
I talked about releasing stuff from my vertebrae, like 33 points, and I talked to you about this. It was just
and you saw 33 viewers earlier. I saw you call that out when I was just coming in backstage. So so think about that too. That's your spine, your nervous system developed in the womb. So going back to womb meditations, your brain's a quantum computer. That's why they model computers after our brain. And you neuroplastize your brain, make it plastic, if you will. By the way, every morning you wake up with a different brain than when you went to bed with. That's just how that works. So your brain goes down as frequencies, it replastizes, to oversimplify the metaphor. Your memories are only as old as the last time you've thought about them. Because they exist in a morphogenic field or Akashic record that can always be tuned into. So if your cells still hold trauma, eventually you will tune into that again throughout your life. If it's not something that's dealt, find a resonance so you can move it through. Right? But with the womb thing, when you picture yourself in the womb, you're putting your neurology all the way back to the womb, the original like birth state. And then if you go through terrible memories, you can clear those. And then when you re-solidify, come out of that meditation being in the womb back to the present, it's like snapping a string, entanglement, or I don't know, whatever. These are all words and metaphors, but makes sense to me. That snaps a string clean in your DNA from present all the way back to the womb, which to me is also the future. It's all an interdimensional womb water space inside of there.
So as you were talking, I'm just going to say this. I felt the same activation. It was almost as if you hit the notes again.
Yeah.
Right. It's always now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Thought of it. we were talking about drugs, and then when Aya released whatever, and she was like, "No, you're supposed to feel like this," and I was like, "Oh, that's what." She's like, "Oh, if you want to feel like this, just think of that feeling, and you automatically feel that." And I went, "Oh, oh, oh," and it was like I was
Dude,
trying
listen to this.
things, realizing that being the creator was what I was. My attachment was what I was looking for. So the same thing just happened. Tingle, tingle, tingle. But now it went all the way up to the top. So I knew instantly to keep it in, right? The Kundalini.
Yeah. Instead of letting it go outside you getting all licked up by somebody else.
Going back down. It's circulating. It's taking a moment. That's why I'm having a hard time. But I'm warm.
Yeah.
From down
I'm
there.
freezing now. I'm ice cold.
It's coming up, and I'm like, go in, because the last time when I'm gonna connect it to the Anunnaki real quick. It blew out of me when I had this feeling. It happened too fast and I exploded. But I'm aware of it. Right? Happened once. I don't know what's going on. Happened twice. Up, it popped out of me 3 times. No, you ain't going nowhere. You're mine. I'm aware of you. It's me. And now I could keep it. Like, I'm getting all excited.
Okay, so listen to this. I'm writing this down. So you said that talked about, she told you to tune into the feeling, right? So Greg Braden does this. It's probably one of the most beautiful things that I've ever heard that really helped shape my framework. The feeling is the prayer. So it's not the actions or just the incense or whatever. Really, it's all you, right? But how we can say that, but it's just in your mind. No, it's generating the feeling. So for example, like when I'm coming up on Lucy's, I found a metaphor that works for now. I'm sure I'll develop it or change it. But the feeling, I'm literally almost in tears. I'm so happy because when we get it on the come up and then in the plateau, it's like you spend your whole life somewhere, whatever. You show up at a house, you will open a door, and it's your room from childhood or whatever that you. Until that moment you open the door, you totally forgot that you had that room. And you walk in, you see posters, you see the bed, and all the memories, like just the awareness of like, oh yeah, shit, I lived here for a while. That's my poster. Oh fuck, man. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Like all that just comes in an internal knowingness of feeling. And when we find a resonance, that was the first time in this lifetime, in these cells, that they have actually felt in a physiological way what Lucy's like. And I think I was telling you like, oh, I found my new mistress, bro. Like Lucy, man. And it's because it's that shift of perception that makes something inside of this is how it feels to me. I'm inside of my own DNA. It's all internal. It's not like we're being manipulated or whatever. Like that's why you got to know yourself, right? So I know that this is a realm that exists and has existed and I've operated in, and it's a place to create things from in your own psyche, in the world, in astral world. I mean, all of it. It just helps you shift in that perception that, oh, we've done this and we've accessed this realm for many, 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 many lifetimes. Now we're stepping back into it, like stepping on the spaceship and just being aware, StarShip FearLess, of each other on higher levels.
Talking with me and Paula about the moment it happened,
right
in the womb, activated it right now at that moment,
right.
And I'm sitting here. Paula's watching me. She's looking at me, smiling.
A minute. Yeah.
And I'm doing like this.
Yeah, you're vibrating.
And I'm holding it in, and it's going.
Holy shit, bro! We've got like 6 minutes till our show. Perfect timing. Keep cycling that shit and carry that right in.
Ooh. So prayer isn't
awesome.
It can be just the thought of it.
But it generates a feeling.
The awareness of it, and then the conversation of it later on can bring it back on, and you're like, well, how does
add
that
new layer of resonance and coherence
of it? And then you start to remember the feeling, and you're happy and grateful on the inside. You don't have to like set up a whole event. You could just remember,
feel the gratitude.
Feel the gratitude is right, and just be happy. And it'll
carry
you into that. Wow, I've never. Hold on, I just want to say.
Yeah, do it.
Never active.
Yeah, you're making the connection right.
Do you feel my love? I've never done this on the show. Like I've done other things, but Lord, my mouth's watering. Activated like my Kundalini on air. That's really weird.
Yeah. Okay, so check this out. I'll leave you with this thought, and you were both
like.
Anchor that shit in, space Jesus. Anchor into the earth, bro. And while you're in there, go tune into Arcturus. We got to talk about them for a few hours.
Hey, hold on. Let me carry this because I know your show starts.
Yeah, why don't you
5 minutes?
You want to break it now?
Yeah. Where can they find you?
Okay, expandedunderstanding.life. I know it's a bit long, but expandedunderstanding.life takes you to my YouTube channel. I don't think if you type expanded understanding in the YouTube search, it'll show up right now. So expandedunderstanding.life, and then just the live video is already there waiting for you. Zach's probably in there. They might be chatting already. So we're gonna start with a 15-minute meditation, tuning into the Arcturus dynamic, and then we're just gonna go, man. We're just gonna talk. And let me leave you with this thought. So I think Joe Dispenza says this: thoughts are electric. Feelings are magnetic. The magnetic is more innate, endogenous to the DNA feminine skin suit. So Paul is more in tune with that magnetic feeling inside of her intuitively, that presence.
Yeah,
so that the nature around her comes into harmony, like you said. Right. So it's not, but for guys, it's a lot of times it's trying to get the thoughts down to the magnetic. And sometimes, anyway, so yeah, so good shit, man. I love you. You were some of my most favorite human beings on this entire planet.
Oh, we love you too.
Space.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
And I'm going to try my best to come back on your show right now because I'm faded fast.
Wonderful. Oh, beautiful. Cool. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
See you in a few minutes. All right, everyone. So
yeah, we gotta.
I'll take it. You can take your headphones off. And
that's right.
Yeah.
I just hate headphones.
I know.
I don't like anything on my face or on my head.
Not true.
Just recently, shut up. I just started wearing a hat recently, like the last couple of years, wearing a hat. What?
Ladies,
you want to start some shit?
And men, I just want to say this real quick. She's beautiful, natural.
Oh,
right?
Thank you. Thank you. I was haggard and tired today.
As she's going through her life, I'm watching the change, right? And I'm watching my change, right? Embrace your change.
Oh yeah.
Embrace it. There's something so hyper beautiful about what's going on.
Oh,
right?
That's sweet.
It's ridiculous, right? Less makeup, more you, right? A little bit of health mixed with a little bit of meditation, mixed with a little bit of love.
Squats.
Right?
A little bit squats.
Definitely do squats. You should do body squats every day, 100
Let me tell you
every
something.
day.
Frank's
I didn't do mine
ass,
today,
you could bounce a quarter off of it right now.
Right?
Me, not so much, but almost.
No.
Yeah.
Woo! So it's really weird. I have like this a little Buddha belly thing going, except I'm thin.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Same thing. It pops out as soon as we eat. It pops out.
Yeah, but it's a little chunk, right? Which I don't mind.
I love it.
But my lower half,
I know, tight. Your
up.
thighs are getting sculpted too. Like the curve in your thigh. I'm seeing this. It's getting sculpted.
Yeah. I've never.
And I don't know if that's just because I haven't seen Frank in such a long time. Like seen him alone.
That's
like
the science. We've been doing squats, and then all of a sudden you see me without anything on. You're like,
oh my god,
what's going on?
Yeah, what happened to your body?
It's like, yo, bro, 3,000 squats. And you're like, okay, snap.
All right. Got it.
See, so a little bit of momentum, even if you take a day off or you don't hit 100, you just do 50.
That's what I do. 50, 40. Some days it's 30. Some days it's 90. Some days it's more, and I just don't post it because I
did 10 the other day, and then my knee kind of like
your knee gave
like a little thing, and then I felt the tweak, and then I did 11, and it hurt a little, and I'm like, if I do one more, I'm not gonna walk for 2 days.
Right. So you stopped. Right.
So I just stopped.
Well, we had a lot of rain.
And then I started up again.
Yeah, me too. That's what I said. I said I could complain about it and not do it.
Get the best you.
And then Frank will do them every day. And then in a month, we'll look at his ass and we'll look at mine and we'll say, who did their squats? Yeah, exactly. So that's my motivation right there.
We were all down with the whatever. I don't know what everyone wants to call this anymore.
Oh, this quarantine, self-quarantine.
Yo, can I tell you something I didn't tell you before? We were both a little sleepy-headed.
What?
Yo, there's like a lot of people out today. A lot.
Yeah, I noticed that there were more people out today.
No, there was a lot. I was like, whoa. Some dudes were posting in the
I just dropped
in some of the group rooms. 33. They were posting in the group rooms.
Yeah.
People aren't wearing masks and gloves, and they're out.
I would still have my mask.
No, I know. But I had noticed it driving. I said, man, there's a lot of people on the road right now. There's a lot of people just walking around. I don't mind. I mean, do what you got to do. I am trying to be a believer on a level.
I want you to be a believer, Frank.
Just
believe it.
I
look at the cat, Luna. All right. We have this cat we've been feeding. It's like 2 years now. And she's still scared. She's still scared, but I could pet her now. Frank can't, but I could pet her. And she'll sit next to me on the couch. And if I fall asleep on the couch, she'll sleep right on top of me. But she won't come in the bed. If you move too fast, she runs. If you stare at her the wrong way, she runs and hides. And if you move, she's just scared. But she's slowly coming around. And maybe in 6 months, Frank will be able to pet her. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I mean, she's coming around. They're all coming around, so that's good.
It's working. Everything's working.
It is working. You just gotta trust. Well, now you do, kind of. You do. Oh, you have chills.
I'm telling you.
What is that from?
I'm activated right now, like 100%. Listen, before the show started, so tonight, as we continue the conversation over into the next show, it's going to be heavily Arcturian influenced. That's
Right.
all I'm going to say. So I was invited over to talk with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we all know, right? Like, it's just the activated part of you
that knows. We need to receive those messages. They need to tell us what they need to tell us to help us prepare.
It literally is all real. I can't.
Frank and I were so prepared for this time. Honestly, we was like
2 weeks of bliss.
It was like
and then a month
go time. Yeah, and
the roughest.
No, 3. No, it's not 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and then I got sick.
Out of it.
We're slowly coming out of it. We have to integrate a new routine, which is fine.
Are fixed. A lot of things are fixed.
A lot of things are fixed.
People feel pretty good.
Things are going. I realized I could do a lot more than I thought I could do, and
it's really not as bad as people said it was. Like there's this thing happening.
Yeah, so it's okay. We're good. But we've been planning for this. And I feel like had we not been prepared, this could have been a nightmare. Down to what we have in the freezer.
So there's a version of us that
I know it's weird.
Okay,
it's
so
very
here's
strange.
Something I want to ask everyone.
This is strange.
All right,
yeah.
so have you ever felt that when I mean optimum timeline and we go there, once we get up there, there's like the opposite of what happens or what could have happened, right? So I'll be like opening my car door and a giant truck will pass really fast.
I was thinking about this before.
I'll see me getting crushed and the car and the truck just keep going with the whole side of the car and then crashing.
No.
And then I'll be like, whoa,
I have an
sucks.
explanation for that.
I know
what you're gonna say.
Did my character because in the Nick Cage movie, he sends like 3 of themselves ahead, and then 2 of them will get killed.
Right.
And then 1 makes it.
It's easier than that. It's easier than
that.
I
know,
and I'll explain
but for the movie,
it
they had to kind of do it cheesy, but
so
it wasn't cheesy. It was like a superpower. But
when you left, so Frank came over last night. He said, I'm going to come over. I'm going to hang out with you for a little while. We'll smoke a blunt, and then I have to go back home. And I said, no problem. And he came over, and he got really comfortable, and he ended up sleeping here last night. And this morning I woke up and he was here, and I thought I was dreaming that he was here because we hadn't slept in a bed together in 2.5 weeks. And he's literally been at his mom's house. And then this week I was sick, so I didn't even want to go over there. I was actually too sick, and then I had to clean the house. And so it was like exciting that we got to spend this time together from last night and then today. And then Frank had to leave in the afternoon to go back to the house. And then he said, I'll see you back at the house tonight to do the show. So I had done some preparation for the show prior to that. And we were having like this great time. And I was thinking about what you said. And we were talking about best possible outcome. You could call it pray, you could call it call to the universe, but I expect in everything I do the best possible outcome. That means if it's going to be a good day, it's going to be a good day, best possible outcome. That means if I need a parking spot, I'm going to find the best possible outcome.
Yeah, we send love ahead.
That means send love ahead. That means if I have to be at his mom's house, all day cooking meals and taking care of Pop and cooking dinner, that's fine. Let it be what I want to cook. Let it be how I want to do it. Best possible outcome. If I'm going to have a shitty day, let the shitty day be the best possible outcome. Let it be the best possible shitty day it's going to be, and I'm okay with it.
Okay, but what I'm
Best
trying,
possible
I
outcome.
get that, and that's total empowerment.
Mhm.
I'm talking about witnessing. If you're multidimensional,
Mhm.
witnessing the ones that don't make it.
It's easier, yeah. And you say thank you.
No, I know
Thank
it's
you for what you've
frightening
done. It's
because
not
that
frightening.
that's any of those points could easily be you on a bad day.
Yes, it could be.
That's all I'm saying.
It could be. It's not that easy, though. It's not that easy. Like my uncle says it all the time. "Oh, I'm just going to die. I'm just going to have a heart attack and die." And it's like, no, you're not. Like,
See,
like
I never
no,
say stuff like that.
No,
I
no,
even say like,
no.
I can't get a plot because I'm not going to die. And my mother goes, "What are you, crazy?" I go, "I'm not going to die. Don't worry about it.
Right, but
I'm going to walk into the next realm.
right.
I'll be
I'm
taken care
I'm
of."
joking with him, but yes, best possible outcome. If you believe that's how it's going to be, that's how it's going to be. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. You've already set the stage for
but
it.
going into that, they're still
I
in
think
the
that
dualistic
those
universe.
pieces, those fractals have to die off because
No,
they
I
no
know.
longer serve you. You don't need them anymore. Do you remember when I told you I had that QHHT past life regression? It was the best thing I ever did. I was married to the guy from Chicago PD in many
Casey
lifetimes.
Jones from the original Ninja Turtles
Many
movie.
lifetimes. And it was funny because in my regression, I'm going, oh my God, that's the guy from Chicago PD. Now, that had happened to me in a past life regression where a man that I had dated in this life, and I told you about this, he was in a few past lives that I had lived, and he looked like the brawny paper towel guy. This I talked about before. And in that regression, the regression therapist was laughing at me when I came out of the regression because she said you were screaming he looked like the brawny paper towel guy. And that's exactly how it went down. Like I am who I am.
Isn't the brawny paper towel guy Paul Bunyan, kind of like the humanized version of Paul Bunyan?
I guess
the red
so.
jacket with the beard, with the hat.
That was my ex. I lived I think in Germany. He went out with an axe and he didn't come back, and I was very happy. Like that's how it was. So it was awful. It really was. I was a medicine woman. I had dogs. I had horses, whatever. So
sounds a lot like this life.
I know. Jesus. It's like,
Jesus.
Frank has been gone 2.5 weeks. I said, I feel like the old lady who lives in a shoe and she's just got 90 cats. I told you we've been feeding this other cat. We call him Brian now.
She dates that lives down the block.
You don't even know. It's like I have a legitimate boyfriend now. It's like I haven't gone to the
family live in the sock.
I haven't gone to the supermarket in I think 3.5 weeks. We haven't gone 3 weeks
30,
maybe.
30.
We haven't gone to a supermarket. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever.
Are you good?
Now I am, yes.
Okay, so
I did have like a panic. Yes, I am. I am good
tonight. This is what compression breakthrough looks like.
Exactly.
It looks like
it's not pretty. Freak it out.
Moving through the shit. Right?
Pushing through that shit. That's what it is.
And we're doing it together as a team. And this is what it's all about for real, right? To keep
it's awful.
Keep yourself sane. Do the things you want to do.
Do it.
Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, for sure. Do some squats. If you can't do none of the above because you got all kinds of issues, you should be meditating. You should eat a little better. You should try to do something different than what you normally have done, to a point of, even if it's just a thought towards something from a different perspective, start there. Breathe deep, ground yourself, and then keep it going.
I told you my sister last episode, my sister helped my nephew with his first grade diorama project.
Yeah, I never seen nothing
it
like
looked
that.
like a prop they could use on MTV, I swear to God. I
They
never
were like,
did
calm
anything
down,
like that.
Rose, because these mothers are gonna beat
They're gonna
your
beat you in the
ass.
parking lot, and your kid is gonna get beaten up at school. So
it's like Tony Stark's in class.
I never did anything that nice, so I started stepping up my creativity game here with the cooking and everything, and then she's taking pictures of those cherubs. I think they're Raphael cherubs.
Yeah.
And then she put her 2 kids in their places, and I was like, you got to get out and take a walk. And she's been working with the 2 kids, and I like text her like literally like, have you eaten one yet?
Build the routine, keep it rocking and rolling.
No. And what I'm saying is that for us, it is the best outcome. For us, it is the best outcome because even moving through all this stuff, it's been rough. This week kicked my butt. I was sick and I was purging, and I was upgrading, and I was having a panic attack this week. So it was a rough week, and I you could tell, like I look it, you could feel it, but I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel like had that not all happened, I wouldn't be here like where I am now.
If you need to sleep, sleep.
Sleep. If you
Just
need to
sleep.
eat. Like if you need 5 minutes, take 5 minutes, like
Like
do what you got to
open
do.
up a little bit in a
Yeah.
protective space and just let it out.
Yeah, and if you're not in a protective space, then create a bubble and shut all that shit out.
All right, shout outs.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yo, it's 11:11, everyone. And we hit the checkpoint right there.
Yeah,
that's our
did.
checkpoint for the
Yeah.
evening. So shout outs to the Fearless family. So we're gonna connect to the grid together right now and do a quick, fast meditation.
Yeah,
and then
yeah. And then we're gonna go
over
on
to the next show. So with me, everyone, ground into earth, into the best possible outcome timeline for you every time, every moment of every day, because you are worthy. Take a deep breath. You feel that?
I do.
Bring it into the now, because it's right now. Okay, connect to the grid with me, everyone. We're all in a specific point in a specific place on the map that we call Earth for a reason. We're creating the Fearless grid together. Take a deep breath. Charge that grid up with that energy.
Charge that grid.
It's been lifetimes of waiting. We've been waiting for this moment, right? It's been over and over and over to learn every version, every scenario on how not to do it and then how to get it right. That's how the creators work.
Right.
And we're a giant team. Take a breath, charge the grid. We are all one, right? We are fearless. All right, go forth, everyone, and be awesome. Thank you so much, Fearless family. Thank you for spending time with us this evening. And if you want to, I put the link twice. I'll put it one more time to the show.
Aaron's show.
That's going off right now. I think they're 13 minutes in. And let's join the conversation over there.
Yeah.
Have
a good night.
Stay fearless, everyone. And remember, the universe rewards bravery. Peace. I love you guys so much.